Okay. Just give me a few minutes. We should be online everywhere. I'm trying to just hit some topics before I get out of here. Why is chat? Is my camera lagging? Like, pause. When my mouth moves on your screen, is the words corresponding to my mouth moving? Because on my screen it's lagging. I know. Turn the mic up. Okay. It's no lag. A little bit. So it's okay. So maybe the lag is on my side. All right. So maybe it's my preview that's lagging. Okay. Anyway, um, YouTube's about to be on the second. Somebody say it's not Blueface, baby. Hilarious. We should have the Academy online as long with the King Academics. Yeah. Okay. They said it sounds good. We're in sync. All right. As long as it sounds good. All right. A few things we're gonna get into tonight. Not too much major stories popping off, but there are a bunch of topics that keep lingering. There's more recent developments on what we've been talking about. Kanye West, he settles his sexual assault. He settles his sexual assault lawsuit with Lauren Pisciotta, a woman who wanted $4 million from him for being an assistant. Ain't it funny? Shorty wanted $4 million a year for being an assistant for Kanye West. She don't get that. All of a sudden, she said he touched her. He forced his fingers in her pussy. He was texting her obscene shit. She filed for harassment, sexual battery, then upgraded it to like sexual assault. It was a mess. Kanye West officially has settled this lawsuit now, though. Krishan Rock. I don't know if the internet is creating murderers or maybe these people are murderers. Now we're hearing Krishan Rock is supposedly finna go to jail for killing her real baby daddy. And we're not talking about Blueface because he's definitely very much alive. We're talking about some nigga from like Baltimore. They're claiming that the real father of Charles Barkley Jr. got murdered by Krishan Rock and the feds are closing in. I don't know. I feel like the internet is kind of creating a lot of, we kind of want to watch some drama, right? Whether it's reality TV, whether it's watching two people beef, we want to watch something that we could become invested in, not just a one-time story, right? Like, for example, this Kanye thing is a one-time story, but people are invested in Kanye overall. These new arcs of did YG kill Drakeo, right? Like, that's like a thing that's going to drag on probably for weeks or months. And even the David thing drags on for weeks or months. What else is the other thing that people are saying? Okay, well, did Krishan Rock kill her boyfriend, right? So, me, I try to, obviously, you can't avoid some of these things. You got to cover them. But I try to at least not just feed into maybe the hype or what everybody's saying, but at least try to, add at least some higher IQ thinking into the mix. But you never know. Anyway, Max B actually got rid of Karen Civil. Karen Civil is a very notable figure in hip hop. I'll give you like her history and everything in a little bit. But she was, I think, unceremoniously fired. Okay? And I think she tried to keep it cute, but Max B is not keeping it cute. Now, he hasn't really levied exactly what she did to really cause this, but he gave some reasons. We'll try to get into that as well. Cardi B, she performed, or not performed, but she previewed a new song. And what else? What else? Yeah, no, Karen Civil has a very interesting history. She's been really known to be really good with YG. She's close with YG. She's close with the Nipsey Hussle family, Lauren London at this point, and I believe Black Sam. But we've heard, Cam didn't have the nicest stuff to say about her. Was it Cam? I think it was Cam, right? Not too sure what happened with Wayne, but Karen Civil is a fixer. If you don't know what that is, if you're watching Scandal, that woman that is notorious for being on Scandal for like fixing every problem, you call her at 3 a.m. and you're like, yo, listen, I just shot this nigga. She's gonna handle PR. Shit, she might show up and pick up the gun. Like she's that hands-on, but also that good. But I can't also ignore the fact that there are certain people who have done business with her or have worked with her, and then they haven't had the best things to say about her, right? It's probably par for the course of what she does in the game. Not too sure exactly how she usually gets compensated or whatever, but yeah, it appears that she helped in the Max B rehabilitation, or bringing him back to the limelight. We see Max B on Versus. Max B's been everywhere. Now, I kind of give a lot of credit to that to French Montana, but it's probably, she's probably doing a lot. I mean, she's hit me up a couple times about Max B. She's one of those people who, she's an all-in-one. She'll do a little PR for you. She'll help work your records for you. She'll get the narrative right for you. She'll highlight some of the good things you're doing if there's bad PR going on. She's pretty good. Now, just not sure how she does or conducts her business with other people, so that's as much as I could vouch for her. Anyway, I guess we can start there. Max B came out and he has said, listen, I don't work with Karen Civil anymore, okay? I want to start from him posting on his Instagram by saying, here he says, hold on. Okay, all right. It's a lot. It was a lot. Hold on. Let me figure it out. I just want to get from the original message. But he came out vehemently. Karen Civil, Max B. And he just randomly put up on his social media. He says, Karen Civil, this was his message here at first. He says, Karen Civil is no longer part of my team. Miss Civil was effectively terminated on June 28th. Now, keep in mind, that's a month ago. For all business inquiries and matters moving forward, please contact Breon or Joe directly. Now, that's over a month ago. I guess he felt the need to make it clear because he feels like maybe she's either still doing business for him or she's like muddying the waters, probably still act like she represents him, okay? Now, while he put that out on Instagram, and he then followed up by saying, if you get a message from me or unfollowed, or you get unfollowed, it's not from me. Karen Civil has hacked my page. Now, it appears that maybe Karen Civil, like, she probably thinking, this nigga almost got 70 years in prison. Like, bruv, I'm not about to let this nigga go torch my reputation by saying I got fired, I did this to him. So it looked like she tweeted, or according to him, she tweeted from his account. So remember, he's on Instagram. She tweets from his account like, oh, you know what? We've ended this partnership. It's ended amicably. And this was the this was the message that was posted. He says, my partnership with Always Civil regarding new business has ended. Which you could tell that's a really manicured statement, right? Like basically saying, hey, you know what? We've kind of parted ways, but it's for new business. If we did old business, you know what it was. He says, my platform will continue to be managed by their team, meaning that his Karen Civil will still continue to manage his platforms until all remaining business with Defiant Records has been resolved. So that kind of brings up some interesting things about Max B's business. Look like Max B is signed into some type of deal where it's outsourced that his social media will be ran, or his PR will be ran through Karen Civil. Anyway, says the previous statement posted to my Instagram was issued through legal counsel. This statement will remain posted for transparency. Now, let's be honest. Max B don't even know the word transparency. He knows words like ow and wavy and shit. He don't know come on, bro. Like, it's a Silver Surfer, bro. Like, Max B just has 75 years in prison. He don't know the words like transparency. So we clearly know this is Karen Civil posting this on his Instagram, on his Twitter. So that's the whole thing. So Karen Civil got access to the Twitter. Max B supposedly got access to the Instagram. Imagine fighting your own team. This is why I can't give over, at least my main, like, well, y'all know who runs Academics TV, but like my main socials, I can't give somebody else the fucking control of that. Because imagine me fighting with the person who's logged in with the account. You get what I'm saying? Like, chat. Okay, imagine me and Grand beefing over Academics TV, and Grand saying one thing, I'm saying over the other thing over there. It's crazy. Anyway, so that's posted. And Karen Civil, which, by the way, this is how she makes her money. So she kind of does a little bit of a cleanup where she kind of like adds her own narrative to it. And she says, listen, from supporting your return home to securing GQ, she's listening to what she's done for him, helping position the business for partnership with Defiant Records. Okay, that's where that Defiant Records come from. And bringing this chapter to BET Awards stage, Always Civil work is now complete. We're proud of everything we built together and wish you and your team continued success. Okay? All right. Now, Max B was not trying to have all of that like kumbaya, respectful shit going on. He basically said, yo, she hacked my Twitter. That is Karen Civil. That's not me on Twitter, because people were confused. Okay. He literally said Karen Civil's a liar. Okay, which that's a very bold and strong accusation. And then because she also, I guess she tweeted from his account responding to a fan when somebody says, as soon as I heard he was with Civil, I was going to say something. Max B, she's a known thief. I bet she was playing with the money again. Max B has said, shut up, man. The business was fine. But remember, Max B is saying that's not him tweeting. Karen then continues and she says, listen, to provide some clarity, Always Civil has concluded operating in a new business for and with Max B since the BET Awards. Certain Max B social properties still will remain under the direction of Always Civil. We're wishing him the best moving forward. And then she says, it seems like people would rather talk about me than talk to me. I'm literally right here on social, so let's engage. Let's have an actual conversation. If you want to know something, let's talk and have a real dialogue. Just be respectful about it. Now, I will say, in respect to both individuals here, Karen, I don't think he was trying to have a dialogue with you. I think he was trying to call you fraudulent. Like, it's one thing if someone's like, hey, listen, we're not on the same page. Another thing if somebody say you're a thief. One is just completely impugning and attacking your reputation. That doesn't seem like a conversational piece. That seems like you just either have to deny or admit the allegations. And, if you want to give context on why this person's saying it, you can. But I don't think this person wants to talk to you if that's what they think. Like, no one's going to be like, I think somebody's a fraud or a thief. Let me go talk to them. Anyway, he continued a bit and he said, I'm not too sure. This is Max B. He says, I'm not sure why you're trying to save face. But the reality is that you've done a lot that led to me letting you go. So getting on social media and acting like you've done all these great things to me is simply not true. Leave me out of your narrative, keep my name out your mouth, and move on. Interesting. And looked like she might have blocked him or something because he couldn't tag her main page. Very, very interesting. Now, this is pretty interesting here, Chad. Let's go to her page, see what's going on. Oh, I like the dog. All right. Anyway. Is it current? No, it's not current. Let's go to Max B. Yeah, so he's not really giving much context, but he's saying she's done a lot that led to him not working with her. I really wonder what that is. I'm not too sure we'll be getting that answer, but I would say, even though technically they clearly have some contractual things that allows Karen Civil to still run his Twitter, I would probably suggest to her that she not tweet anymore from his account. You get what I'm saying? It reeks of being underhanded. It reeks of, trying to force a narrative and fool his fans. Like, if Max B, I get it, you have rights to control the Twitter, but if you're posting something on his Twitter, basically bigging yourself up, and he's over here on Instagram calling you a fraud, I do think we're not in the old era where you could just put a veil over people's eyes. I think that's kind of scummy a bit. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think you putting out the initial statement is cool. I think you continuing to use his Twitter when clearly he doesn't fuck with you is a little bit weird. I got to be honest with you. Despite what contractual stuff you have, he's basically fired you publicly. At that point, he's relieved you of your duties, and you need not tweet or at least put out a false narrative that he agrees with the work you've done or he's giving you a cosign. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. The last time Karen Civil came under fire, let me see. Last time she came under fire, what was that about? Karen Civil. Was it? No, it was Jason. Was it Jason Lee? Were they beefing? Oh, yeah, they were beefing and shit. Oh, yeah. Then, I remember Joyner Lucas was like, oh, yeah, that she stole money from me. Jason Lee. I've got Jason Lee in here too, Peter. Jason Lee. Have each other blocked tonight. Yeah, there was a time that they all ganged up on Karen Civil. Jason Lee had some issues with her. By the way, if you want to know like Karen Civil's history, shout out to Karen Civil, by the way. Just big Jersey in the building. She's one of the people who, like, I think she invented a role in music or like the industry. She was a person who kind of came up like, I think she did some digital work for like Funk Flex or somebody like 107, something like that. And then she kind of turned into like this media maven that would, when the internet was going into the digital era where it was about to be blogs and this and third, she would work with people like, for example, Lil Wayne, who was a huge artist, but you could tell Wayne don't look like he knows how to even log into an email. She would kind of bring their brands digitally, set stuff up for them, and kind of overall run their brand like that. It evolved into her being kind of like a brand manager, PR. She worked with a lot of different people. And I think, even by the end of Nipsey Hussle's life, she became the person who was working with Nipsey. And I think she still does work with, the Marathon Continues, and she works with YG. But that's been her thing. I remember watching kind of her, like, get up. And it inspired me. This was even right when I was trying to get into, like, quote unquote, the industry. Shit. It helped drive home the fact that you don't have to be the rapper to get the bread. I saw her driving like these fucking either Rolls Royces or Maybachs or whatever it was. I remember she was out there in LA and I was like, wow. So the person who's behind the scenes could be getting that money. And she was. Now, obviously, a lot of accusations came in the future, in the past. Came afterwards subsequently.
I couldn't come up and said, I'm not here to defend Jesse Wu because all Karen, you sent me multiple cease and desist letters.
Okay, so they were beefing, and then Joyner Lucas was beefing with her, claiming she stole $60K.
White, from LA, take care of it. Now here she is. She's sitting doing interviews. You're getting interviews off of me. What do you think?
If anybody remembers this like Clubhouse era, they used to make these rooms and jump somebody. Shit, remember Meek Mill and them try to jump me? Well, Karen Civil almost got jumped, and a bunch of people came through and was like, oh, she's a fraud. She somehow survived that. I don't know what happened with the Wayne situation. She was really influential in helping Wayne when Wayne was right about to go to prison. Who else? Was it Cameron? I don't know if was it Cameron? Okay, well, I will say, and I know she just did Joe Budden's podcast. I would like to sit down with her, actually, because I do think there's too many. I'm an honest guy. One thing people can say about Act, I'm going to admit to anything I've ever done unscrupulous or maybe like controversial. But one thing about me, I'm not stealing. I get anything I've ever gotten, I got it, I think, in a fair way. I mean, what's the most I've done? I kind of put pressure on these labels, but that's not stealing. You know what I mean? That's good business. But stealing or taking what's someone else, that's never been my MO. I think, in Jamaican culture, they said a liar and a thief are related, but like a thief is like the worst thing. A thief is even almost worse than like a killer. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, I fucked up the saying. But Cam accused her of stealing too.
PSA, I'm going to say this one time. Anybody I used to work with or was cool with, or even personal, if I helped you out in life and you throw dirt on my name, I'm going to expose everybody. That goes for men and women. I'm going to expose you bad. Stop going on these shows lying on me, man. Period. Because I'm going to get greasy, pause. Super greasy. I'm going to talk about your girlfriends, how they used to call me. And
Okay.
with y'all, men and female, I promise you. Niggas still asking y'all about me doing shit with your life.
Okay. I don't hear him. Oh, here we go.
And then everything kind of changed. I think Karen Civil said it was over a parking spot and all this shit. Do you think? I know I'm asking you two.
Nah, you
four
can ask me
questions in
whatever you
one.
want. Karen Civil don't know what the fuck she be talking about sometimes. She got to chill the fuck out. She just be trying to get clout for her shit. You know what I'm saying? She was my employee too. And I called her about lying about that shit. Like, I know you doing whatever you doing to get your shit popping and all that, but you worked for me for like 3 years. Stop with the lying and shit. So because you clout chasing and you ain't got to, you already established.
Okay. So anyway, it looks like this partnership hasn't really ended well. We'll figure it out, but shout out to Max B and shout out to Karen Civil. I've always said my dealings with Karen Civil has always been good. However, I can't speak for another nigga dealings with Karen Civil. Because here's the thing. With Karen, I don't know if she's getting a budget from these guys or how she demands a budget and she's supposed to spend it in a certain way, or maybe she charges them for certain services. And I don't know where the breakdown could be of somebody saying you're a fraud or you robbed me or you stole this, or maybe they felt like they give her a certain amount of money and they don't see whatever it is. I have no idea about her business like that. And I'm just going to say that's why I would rather her speak about it on like a podcast or something, because, bro, fraud shouldn't be attached to your name like 4 or 5 times. Like, you know what I mean? After a while, it's like, yo, bro, what's going on? What's going on, right? Anyway, speaking about frauds, of course, after having a great conversation with Mr. Charlemagne the God, I enjoyed that conversation, no matter what you guys think about it. Oh, damn, see, I can't even go to this. I think he still got the page block. I can't even go to it. Charlemagne, I can't go to it still. I go to check up on Charlemagne's website that he told me he got all this info from that accuses basically Drake, Steak, Grand Wizard, and the rest of a nationwide fraud. And I go to check up on that site to see what's the latest in their findings, because I'm believing Charlemagne the God. It's no way he would pull up to an interview with a printout and quote and literally sit there and read it. And we went through this already, where we kind of saw the articles and we went to go look through the authors, and the authors didn't seem real, and it was pretty spooky. I think everybody came to the conclusion it was an AI website, because an author published like 90 articles in like a day. That doesn't seem very human, right? Like 90 articles, like, yo, people don't even tweet 90 times. Anyway, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give Charlemagne the benefit of the doubt. Why would Charlemagne get up on this good old internet and lie, or even like purport that like clearly Rock Nation wouldn't like send him to do this? So I go to his website, Inverse Wire. This is where all of this info that he was saying came from. And I go there and it no longer exists. It actually goes to another website, inverse4d.com. The reputable website that he read in our interview no longer exists. I gotta give it to Charlemagne, man. You know, if it's anything, I'll take some accountability from. I went into that conversation saying this is someone who I look up to, that even if he works with the ops, there is a high moral integrity there. And sometimes when you do have that high moral, that when you look up to someone and you feel at the core that they are of high moral, you know, just on a moral level, that they wouldn't stoop to certain levels. This was flabbergasting. I mean, I'm like speechless, bruv. Like, like this. So I will give Charlemagne a very big credit, because trust me, even though I think I'm a pro, you get me? I always looked at me and Charlemagne as, yo, all right, I looked up to him a lot getting into the game, and then now I'm in the game. I've always looked up to him, looked at him, but looked up to him as, I think we could go toe to toe. And I'll give him this one. He taught me another thing, because I'm gonna be honest with you, he pulled a fast one, not only on me but the whole public. This was good. So I don't even want to be or come off salty. It just is what it is. But Charlemagne pulled a fast one, not only on me but the entire group of people who kind of bought into this conversation. Yeah, this was ridiculous. The website no longer exists. It's like everything just went away. Wow. Nevertheless, what he also taught me is that the moment mattered more than the truth that people might find out afterwards, right? Like, the moment was the sit down. Whoever was able to spin the better narrative, whoever was able to make the other look a little bit out there, they were going to be seen by the public as winning the interaction, and the public doesn't really care. I usually think we're in the information era, so I'm like, no, that's why I was like, yo, look at the comments. They're going to realize that you're bullshitting. That's not how it is, or not for certain audiences. So anyway, the subsequent follow-ups like this, like, to me, when I found out it was an AI website, I was like, yo, good game. It's over. Then people are like, nah, you still got cooked. Okay, cool. Now the website doesn't even exist, and I'm like, yeah. It's very interesting, because didn't I tell you, while after that conversation with Charlemagne happened, I got some calls, and it's from 3 people. I got the first call. I mentioned that first call. Then 2 more other people called. The first call was from someone who said, I seen some stuff with you, and I seen what they're trying to do in terms of nerfing your narrative and nerfing you telling the truth. They're hitting you with the, oh, don't listen to him, he's crazy. He's out there. He's losing it. And that's a really effective method if you can't, like, fully prove everything, even though we know what's going on. They then told me, hey, listen, what you're experiencing, I'm experiencing. I remember looking at this website. It's called Larry Jackson Exposed. Do I need to connect the dots again? The reason why Tidal wasn't $1 billion company is because one rapper didn't stand on stage and went with Apple. You know, that guy went with Apple and dropped his album via Apple a week before it started the exclusive window. It started that wave. You know who started that? It was Jimmy Iovine's protege, who he brought in the deal over to Apple after they sold Beats. Jimmy Iovine, who owned or co-owned Beats with Dr. Dre, the person who signed Chief Keef, who was his main guy, who was in the culture, knew the culture, for the culture, his name is Larry Jackson. Jimmy Iovine goes over to Apple, brings this guy with him. Jimmy Iovine just wanted to cash out. He already made a shit ton of money. He's good already. He had to wait about 18 months until, like, the the deal, finished and everything wrapped up, he cashed out deuces. Larry Jackson stayed over there in an executive role with Apple Music. He earned his keep by reshaping the music business because streaming was becoming the thing. Remember, when Apple bought Beats, it was Beats and Beats Music. They then killed Beats Music. They absorbed Beats by Dre into like their headphone system, and they created Apple Music. So Jimmy Iovine exits stage left. Larry Jackson stays there. Larry Jackson, while making his impact at Apple Music around 2015, 2016, or maybe even, was it 2014? No, 2015, 2016. He says, we're just going to, all these contracts that the music business have. Keep in mind, he used to work at Interscope. Right? He used to work at Interscope with Jimmy Iovine. He knows the music business. He says all of these contracts, there's a loophole in them. They're not really equipped for the new streaming market. You know how we could build Apple Music? Let's go straight to the artists. Let's incentivize them directly to drop their music quicker here. Here, Drake, take $20 million. Keep in mind, at the time, everybody's on this Dame Dash wave. Ownership. Keep in mind, all of those artists that went on stage with Jay-Z for Tidal, they reportedly got offered $1 million, even though they put out some blanket report claiming that it was 8. It wasn't 8. Also, according to SEC filings, the artists on stage, it showed no ownership when the company was subsequently bought by Square. So who fucked it up? Where did all this start? Why, when Drake was beefing with Meek, he drops a song called Charged Up, and he says the higher-ups have decided to come for me. I got me a deal with Apple, but I still feel entitled. Well, the person who kind of fucked up the finesse for Jay, you're looking at him on the screen. So the Tidal finesse doesn't go down as planned, because if Drake is the number one streamed artist in Apple Music history. He's the number one streamed artist overall in history. Having him aboard with Tidal could legitimately have threatened the ecosystem of Apple Music and Spotify to some extent. Not saying the Tidal would topple them, but potentially could have made it a 3-horse race, even pushing out Amazon Music. And you know how there's a big 3 when it comes to record labels: Sony Music Entertainment, you have Universal Music Group, and then you have Warner. Potentially, you could have had Tidal be a number 3 option. To put it in perspective, streaming blew up so much, and trust me, I think Jay is always salty at all these billion-dollar plays when somebody fucks it up. That's why when we get to the gambling, remember, he lost the casino thing, but he lost the casino thing because everybody's calling him a PDF. That's why he's so mad and he's suing everybody. So that's why he's on offense this year, right? Also, ironically, why maybe some of his employees or affiliates are also talking gambling, because he should have been a part of a gambling situation that was going to be worth billions. Anyway, Spotify is worth $76 billion. It's worth more than, actually, no, excuse me. I think over $100 billion. Oh, we could look at the market cap. Let's look at it. Spotify market cap. Okay, $107 billion. Okay? To put in perspective, Spotify, 10 years after its inception, or it was about, well, it's been around longer than that, but the streaming era is about 10, 11 years. Spotify is worth as much as all 3 major record labels combined. So what does that mean? The moves that were made to establish streaming have paid off lucratively. While Universal stopped the oh, you could put your music out before and get a grace period. They stopped the exclusive drops. On Apple, it built Apple. The Weeknd did one of those deals. Drake did one of those deals. Now, I only say that to say it's happening again. Larry Jackson, who exited Apple at a certain point, has a new venture. It's called Gamma. He's the one, and I had this conversation with him. I said, listen, Gamma's doing a lot of things. We just don't know what they're doing because it's not as transparent. They're the ones who put out the Bully album. They just put out Ross. They put out Sexy Red. They put out, I don't think they do Lo Shimmy. They put out a good amount of artists. Here's the thing. Another $1 billion idea that Jay has, that what Larry's doing now is in direct competition. Roc Nation Distribution. Remember they announced this and everybody hated it because they told people, we'll give you no services, but we'll just take some type of fee. People hated it. Russ trashed it. A lot of people said this was bullshit, right? Well, Gamma is kind of the sort, except they're not offering it to the people yet. Gamma are taking people out of their record deals and giving them certain situation where they basically fund them like a major, and they roll out and use, and because this guy is that good in terms of knowing how the music business works, he knows how to skirt around everything so to give an independent artist a major look. Once again, stepping on the coke that Jay think he got. Anyway, a website pops up a couple months ago. LarryJacksonExposed.com. It says Scammer Exposed. Play off Gamma. It looks really, wow, this is one of those. It has all these type of things. It's showing, okay. Usher was there. French is there. Rich the Kid. Okay, all of that, right? Very, very interested. And they sourced everybody talking bad about Larry Jackson. They basically call them leaks. They said these are from insiders. Look, this is an insider, right? Owner of Rebel Music, who signed Sexy Red 4 years ago, clears signs nobody is happy with Scammer services. A really good hit piece website. It kind of reminds me of the website that Charlemagne got. Except that one got exposed and just poof, disappeared. This one has no article, has no author. So it's anonymous. It's harder to track. But where did it come from? Where did it come from? I only tell you these things before someone takes it and says, oh, act is salty. I've already came to terms with what Charlemagne the God did was a great magic trick. And if people are that dumb, you got to let it be. You'll be proven right in due time. I just want to point out to the ones who are thinking, let's look at the patterns. Okay? Let's look at the patterns. Shout out to my man Eric Jackson over here. He did a video on this. You know, you remember when we found out that the website that supposedly had all this info that Charlemagne printed out and walked it into an interview and read it as it was facts and said it was reputable and said Dalton Jackson is so amazing we can't find Dalton Jackson. Matter of fact, we can't find the website anymore because it doesn't exist. We found out that website was registered 2 days before the release of Iceman. 2 days. Let's hear about the website aimed at Larry Jackson. Check this out.
It was the same account and the same register.
Here we go.
All right, 2 anonymous websites went up accusing a music executive of running a fraud. Here's the single fact that tells you almost everything about them. Those websites were registered 5 seconds apart. It was the same account and the same registrar, the same minute, one at 10:55 and 52 seconds, the other at 57. 2 independent whistleblower sites born 5 seconds apart, and hundreds of accounts that pushed them across social media, all created months earlier, back in December, and they were left dormant. And then they fired their links in a single 12-minute window. That's not a leak. A leak dribbles out.
So there's another website too. I don't know what the other website is, but they're saying, look, it says whistleblower drop. So there's another website. They're saying these websites got registered within 5 seconds of each other, according to internet domain registration info.
This launched on a schedule 48 hours after Bloomberg ran a flattering profile of the man it targets. His name is Larry Jackson, no relation. So the real question was never whether the accusations are true. It's who built a dormant bot army in December and points it at one executive the day after his good press. Larry Jackson just filed suit to make them say their names and to see why someone wants his company, Gamma, dead. You have to understand who he is, who he stood next to for 10 years, and what a company like Gamma is worth right now. So this is day 342. The registry records and the court filing, not the rumors. And for the record, before anyone asks, I don't have any relationship with Gamma. I don't have stake in any of this, and nobody's paying me a dime for my analysis. I just read the public documents, and everything I'm about to show you, you could pull yourself if you want to independently verify any of this. So let's start with the man, Larry Jackson. He's a Clive Davis protege. He came up under Clive as a teenager who talked his way onto the radio at KMEL in San Francisco, and he turned into one of the most decorated A&R executives of his generation. He produced Whitney Houston, the I Look to Love You. He worked on Jennifer Hudson's Grammy-winning debut. He becomes EVP of A&R at Interscope under Jimmy Iovine. And his first signing there is Lana Del Rey. Then Apple buys Beats in 2014, and Jackson becomes the global creative director of Apple Music. Billboard 40 Under 40, the Power 100, the whole thing. That's the chair where he stops being an A&R man and he becomes a power broker. And the biggest relationship he builds in that seat has a name that you know, Drake. Everybody remembers Jay-Z relaunching Tidal in March of 2015. We talked about this in yesterday's video. 16 artists got up on a stage as owners. Drake was in talks with Tidal. He was reported to have a deal with them, and then he wasn't on that stage. And 2 months later, June 8th, 2015, Drake walks out at Apple's developer keynote, WWDC, and he endorses Apple Music, and he becomes its flagship exclusive artist, with Larry Jackson running the relationship. Views, More Life rolled out through Apple and Beats One, breaking streaming records. Jackson, the executive on the other end of the phone. So file this first. Larry Jackson is the man who, at the biggest fork in the streaming era, pulled Drake toward Apple and away from Jay-Z's platform. And that bond now is 10 years deep. Now, a lot of you have asked me in the comments section on my YouTube channel, what actually is Gamma and what's it trying to do? That's what sparked today's topic. So here's the answer, because it's the whole key, I think, of what's going on right now. In March 23, Jackson leaves Apple, starts Gamma with Ike Yusuf. Day one, they buy a distribution platform called Vidia and build on it. And the idea is a direct shot at the major labels. For 100 years, the major label deal has been, we make you a star, and in exchange, we own your masters forever. Gamma inverted it. Gamma gives an artist major label muscle, the capital, the marketing, the global distribution, but lets the artist keep their masters. The trades called it an inside-out major. It's backed by Apple, and Todd Bowley's Eldridge, with a film and TV tie to A24. So the long-term goal isn't to be a label, it's to be the company artists go to when they figured out that that ownership is the whole game. And honestly, given who's funding it, Gamma is almost certainly built to eventually sell itself, the same way that it tells its artists to think. A guy like Todd Bowley wants a return on his investment. And the number everyone repeats wrong. You hear $1 billion Gamma. That billion is Eldridge's committed capital, money available to deploy, not a valuation. The valuation on the record is $400 million, which was set in February of 2024 when Alpha Wave, Rick Gerson's firm, led a...
Now, I know some of y'all might be like, why are we watching this, bro? It's like 3 o'clock. I know you got, I pride myself when you guys come here, I give you inside baseball. I always tell you, when you're watching what's going on, it might sound, and I hate that it might sound crazy, but when an artist flops, there's an executive that made that decision or didn't make a decision. When an artist doesn't drop, it all starts from business. This is a music business. Everything starts with a contract getting signed, a budget being released, someone not signing, someone being shelved. What you normally see and are entertained by is when the artist says, fuck my label, or the artist is now beefing because he has no motion, but his label is not invested. It all starts top down. So when you're watching these things, why is the jig is up? If you're only thinking this is just a clever bar, well, I just can't help you. But if you think about all these things that trickle down, that eventually become lyrics or become little gestures, or it could become like these, like almost like microaggressive tactics, you got to think about the big business that then falls and trickles down into all the things you see and are amazed by. So that's why I'm playing this, because it all matters.
$100 million round. And the work is real. Usher's Coming Home came out through Gamma around his Super Bowl moment. It distributes Snoop's Death Row catalog. Rick Ross, Sexy Red. In February of this year, Rolling Stone reported Northwest signed to Gamma. That's not a company doing deals, not a company dying. Apple and Eldridge do not fund a phantom. And here's the tell that beats any argument. A company that's actually collapsing does not file a well-lawyered federal defamation suit to defend its name. It goes quiet, it disappears, and Gamma did the opposite, which brings me back to the move that matters the most and the one that tells you exactly why Gamma has enemies, okay? Gamma distributed Ye's album Bully, released through YZY, and Gamma on March 28th of this year, it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. Now think about what that took, because after Ye's 2022 anti-Semitic statements, the corporate world dropped him all at once. Adidas killed a Yeezy deal that was worth roughly $2 billion a year, about 10% of the entire brand's revenue at the time. Think about that. Gap, CAA, and the Balenciaga followed. Forbes cut his net worth estimate from $2 billion to $400 million. Every blue chip corridor in business closed to Ye. But here's the thing. The headlines fused together and got wrong. The corporations dropped him, but Kanye's audience didn't. That $2 billion hit was a balance sheet event, but it wasn't an audience event. And the data pulls them apart. 16 months after Adidas walked in February of 2024, Ye put out Vultures 1 as an independent, no major label behind him. And it didn't just debut number 1. That week, he became the first independent artist in history to be the single most streamed act on Spotify on Earth, passing Taylor Swift. And after every corporate door had closed, so today he sits at around 69 million monthly Spotify listeners right now as I record this. The 23rd most of any artist alive, ahead of Kendrick Lamar, as well as ahead of Jay-Z's 47 million. And he can still fill a stadium. A reported 118,000 in Istanbul just in this past May. He told the crowd it was a world record. It wasn't, and I'm not going to repeat a number that isn't true, but it was obviously a massive show. So here's the real significance, and it's the whole reason I think that Gamma matters. Institutional capital re-entered a corridor it had collectively walked out of. Gamma didn't back a canceled man. It backed an artist the boardroom abandoned, and the audience never did, which is exactly the bet a company that believes ownership and audience outlast corporate approval is built to make. That's an asset. It's also exactly the kind of thing that makes you a target. Now, why is Gamma the perfect landing spot for the biggest fish of all, Drake? Okay, we talked about this a couple of days ago. For that, you have to understand something a lot of you have asked me in the comment section. How does Universal own Drake's old music in the first place? Here's the mechanism. Drake never owned those early masters. Take Care, Views, Scorpion, those all came out under Lil Wayne's Young Money, which sat under Birdman's Cash Money, distributed through Universal's Republic. So Drake was the star, but he didn't hold those early masters. And Universal's own CEO settled how it turned out last August, on August 14th, 2025 to be exact, in Drake's own lawsuit against Universal. Sir Lucian Grange filed a sworn declaration describing the purchase and ownership of the bulk of Drake's recording catalog, plus his publishing. The exact timing and structure of that purchase were never made public and still haven't been, but the endpoint is on the...
Yeah, so from my understanding, and this is not from any inside knowledge, but just kind of looking how structurally this went down. So Drake early album, remember around... So there's a couple deals that happened that bought Drake masters. So Drake comes in under Young Money, and Young Money is owned by Cash Money. Cash Money has this deal with Universal. Now, my understanding is that for all new artists under Cash Money split the masters with Universal. So Universal owned like half, and Cash Money owned half, right? Or owned it through Young Money, half. When Lil Wayne claimed he was owed $51 million, Universal says, we will pay Wayne, but if we pay Wayne, we want to absorb the artist straight into Universal, and we want the masters, the other half of the masters. Now, if you wonder why Birdman still says, yo, we're locked in for life, this and third, because there's some pub stuff with that, you know, he'll always get paid for, obviously. But apparently, Universal absorbed the masters of Nicki, Wayne, Nicki, Drake, all the Young Money artists. Nicki, Drake, Gutta, not playing. Well, yeah. But Tyga. And that's how they completed it. You got to look at masters and pub. Like the thing about ownership, people could also fool you about ownership. Ownership in music is that in everything, it's a pie. There's 100% and 0%, but you could own 10% of your shit. Does a person who owns 10% of their shit own their shit? Right? So essentially, they combined the masters after Universal paid out. And after that, which this is what's not really reported on correctly, because all we have is some fact checks or like, it's like Drake will do like a contract check during certain lyrics. Like he'll be like, yo, I just did 2 for 20 or I did 2 for, like, you know, he says, I just did 2 for something. I feel like LeBron or something like that. He'll kind of mention the fact that he's constantly re-signing. That's what Drake has been doing, right? So he's been constantly re-signing or doing these addendums, or, you know, every time you do like these joint albums, you got to like almost like do a different deal because you now have a different artist in there, and they're not going to count that as just a single offering. But Drake has been kind of doing his re-signing thing, and as he gains more leverage, right, it gets to a point around 2018, the latest negotiation he had with them was, here's the thing. Because he had one negotiation first that half of Drake's masters would be on OVO. The other half would be on Republic. Republic is under Universal. Then, after going into 2020 for the next album, it was now wholly under Drake's label, OVO. And it was just licensed to UMG. Okay? But with about like 12 years of research, Drake has made streaming. He's the most popular rapper and just musician, period. Remember, Universal Republic. It's Universal Republic's here. Universal owns Republic. Republic also did a very interesting deal where they basically bought Taylor Swift's masters back for her for $400 just to secure the rights to release her music. So Drake gets a unprecedented deal at the time. Keep in mind, the market is also telling Drake what he's worth. Drake sees what Taylor does, and Drake gets this fucking behemoth of a deal, reportedly $400 million. They give him $400 million, and rather than thinking about getting the masters back from his old work, now his masters continuing after Certified Lover Boy, right? There's some question about Scorpion, but I've heard Scorpion also is either majority or wholly owned by him as well. But after that, clearly everything in Drake's catalog is owned by him. Okay? He still gets $400 million. To put it in perspective, Taylor was only down to do business if she got her old masters back. So they spent that money buying her masters back rather than giving her a big lump sum. So I know sometimes when people hear like these numbers like $1 billion, they're like, how? Well, not to just pile on and shit on Jay here. Jay's just never been in that position. He's never been that big of an artist compared to the field. And the field is even beyond hip hop. The conversations where Drake is having, Drake is watching Taylor. Taylor's watching Drake. They're watching Bad Bunny. They're watching The Weeknd. They're all watching each other, right? So that Taylor deal told Drake, yo, you could get up to $500 million from these people. So he gets $400 million. He says, unlike Taylor, I don't want my old masters. It's okay. Maybe I'll get them back another time, even though these are precious things too. You got Take Care. You have Nothing Was the Same. Like, these are amazing albums. Which, by the way, I'll tell you how Universal is winning. When you look at the charts even today, in terms of albums charting, Take Care is still in the top 50. Take Care is number 33. So UMG is eating lovely off of that, right? So keep in mind, if Drake had did the Taylor Swift thing, he would have said, hey, listen, I'm not re-signing, right? I'm not re-signing unless I get those back, which I don't think UMG would have gave him because they're like, you're such a great artist, but this is your quintessential album. Take Care is just the one. And why would we give you that album back just for you to make more albums when even if you leave and if you get more popular, this will always sell. So this is still currently selling, and the Masters is owned by UMG. They have to do no promo, no nothing. People just love this fucking album, right? So anyway, Drake opts not to try to pursue that route of trying to get his masters back, right? He says, just, I want to own all my masters going forward and give me the big lump sum, okay? He gets the big lump sum, $400 million. He is one of the most profitable artists, just like Taylor Swift. Recoupment and the way how the deal is structured. And by the way, they do also, there's a licensing period of Universal being able to exploit some of the things even though he owns it. That's part of the $400 million deal reportedly. The deal is worth it for both sides. Drake gets cash rich, even though he's rich already, but like $400 million, who's turned that down? Universal keeps their biggest act. Also, they realize Drake has an incentive now that he's owning his catalog to drop more music. What happens is streaming. The more new music you drop, the old music does better. And just seeing by this chart that I'm showing you, when you drop Iceman, Take Care charts. So basically, okay, Drake might own the masters to Iceman, but they own the masters to Take Care. Zero promo, I don't even want to quote you the number of how much I know Drake spent on making the album and making the album in terms of shooting videos. He basically organized a movie-like budget. Did that from his own pockets, not UMG. Anyway, I kind of say all that to say, if you do wonder how contracts and stuff like that make it, whatever. So how do we get to this $1 billion conversation with Drake? Well, we get to the $1 billion conversation with Drake. Remember, and this is what people, again, the fans who want to have this Jay-Z and Drake conversation, I always got to exit the Jay-Z fans, because there's only 4 people. Well, it was maybe a little bit more than 4, but 4 artists currently, Drake, The Weeknd, Bad Bunny, and Taylor Swift, that are really in that mix that could really shake up the whole thing. 3 are at Republic. Bad Bunny's at Sony Orchard. You have Taylor at Republic, Weeknd at Republic, Drake at Republic. All right? So they're all looking at each other's deals. They're all also doing interested in different deals. By the way, we could talk about The Weeknd $1 billion. He signed like a $1 billion thing recently too. The Weeknd $1 billion deal, right? And it was a catalog partnership. So for the people who are still stuck on this level of, oh, who raps better, Jay or Drake? Oh, is he gonna respond to the freestyle? Respectfully, we have to exit you stage left and make sure you take your Alzheimer's medication. Jay-Z has never been in the position where at the top of the genre he's having these negotiations. So when people are short-sighted when thinking about $1 billion when it comes to Drake, his counterparts are talking billions. The Weeknd, billions. Taylor Swift, when he got his 400, look, Taylor Swift Masters bought back. It was bought back for 360. So you see how Drake gets his value. Drake, this is Drake's competitors, not Jay-Z. Okay? Maybe if he was trying to put out like a competitor to Duce back in the day or something like that. But Jay-Z's never been in this position. So these numbers that we keep hearing, we get these numbers from Drake looking at Taylor. Taylor looks at Drake. Drake looks at The Weeknd. The Weeknd looks at Drake. They look at Bad Bunny. That's how it works. Okay? That's the true peer group. The peer group is not some old senile guy get on stage acting like this shit is back in like 99 again. That's just unfortunately not what it is. This is big business. So when Drake sees this, right? When these things are happening, right? And by the way, keep in mind, I forgot how much was it bought for? I forgot how much. Initially, it was bought for what? Okay, anyway. The point is this. The millions that we see kind of help determine the market, right? Taylor Swift, her back catalog or whatever, worth $400 million. Drake says, keep the back catalog, give me $400 now. They both get $400. Well, Taylor doesn't get the $400 million. It goes to buy her catalog back that she owns. Okay? But $400 million is the market to either have these guys get their shit back, or they'll say, give me the cash, you could keep it for now. Drake chooses to keep it, to say, keep it, give me the money. She, Taylor Swift, give me the ownership, and she's still re-recording stuff, or I think it ended now. Anyway, now we're in a $1 billion game. The latest is The Weeknd, who signs this $1 billion deal, even though this is not necessarily through his record label, right? It's a partnership with a capital company, but these days, Drake, Taylor, and Bad Bunny, the deals that they would now be interested in, well, I'm going to take Bad Bunny out of it because he does business in a really interesting way. If I tell you guys what I've heard about Bad Bunny's business, number one, A1, but like he moves with the ultimate leverage and always had, because the labels have nothing they could leverage over Bad Bunny as opposed to Drake, as opposed to Weeknd, or even Taylor Swift. They've never owned anything of Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, like coming in through Sony Orchard, the record labels are not looking at Bad Bunny like, oh, we own your first 3 albums, so, we could leverage those over time. They own nothing. So what he does is that he doesn't need that big ballooned deal of like $600 million. He just hits them. He kind of does like how, well, before LeBron signed for like, pennies on the or pennies on the dime, whatever that saying is. You know what LeBron was basically saying? Just give me $50 million for the year. Like that was Bad Bunny, right? Like he would drop an album, they give him 80 million, 90 million, whatever it is, and he just keeps going rather than having a full deal. It gives him the most flexibility, but it's like, to put it into basketball terms, he's signing for one albums, right? Like essentially, not necessarily, but it's like he's doing shorter deals rather than doing the, yo, we're going to do this for 4 years, give me $1 billion, right? But when you add up the money, it's going to still be the same thing. So this guy, you know, those four are really doing their thing, but that's where we're at. We're at the billions. Bees is on the table, not only for Drake, but also for Taylor Swift, for Abel, and of course, Bad Bunny. He's going to be there no matter what. So just to kind of, you know, give y'all a little bit more inside baseball on these contracts, what these artists are worth, and if you're wondering about the market value, because another thing I don't like about with these guys who love Jay-Z and they talk about him like he's the best thing since, you know, sliced bread, is that, of course, $1 billion sounds unrealistic because Jay-Z at his height, like, you know, wasn't even like $100 million guy in music, you know? So $1 billion sounds ridiculous until you analyze the current market, and the current market for these artists and the artists at the top. Yes, the fair market value is $1 billion or around there, right? Maybe 890, maybe 1.1. Like it could be anywhere within that range, and everyone's using their leverage differently. The Weeknd is doing it in one way. Taylor Swift is doing it one way. Bad Bunny's more doing it like he's a huge independent artist, right? To a certain extent. And Drake is doing it as, I created streaming, I have the back catalog to show, but also out of everybody in that group, Drake produces the most amount of music. Remember also the thing with catalogs, this is why Future sold his catalog. A lot of times artists cherish their catalog when it's not that much of it. Like Rihanna probably wouldn't sell her catalog, right? Why? Because Rihanna doesn't have that many albums. Drake, for the let's think about the amount of albums Drake dropped, right? So we have, well, we're not going to even call So Far Gone. Let's just start with Thank Me Later. Thank Me Later, Take Care, Views. No, Thank Me Later, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, Views. Okay? And Let's Go More Life, right? So those are 5 albums. Those you would expect are owned by Interscope. Not Interscope. Ooh, sorry. Owned by Universal. Well, when you have the mindset of, oh, I'm going to drop, listen to how many albums he's dropped afterwards. Scorpion. He did the Dark Lane demos, even though it's an album, not really, but yeah, fine. Dark Lane demos, Certified Lover Boy. We're not going to count his duo albums here because those are usually seen as different. For All the Dogs. Am I missing one? Honestly, Never Mind. Iceman, Abiti, Maid of Honor, and I feel like I'm missing maybe one project. No, I think I got them all. Essentially, Drake's catalog just by numbers in what the label owned versus what he owns, he already owns more by the number than half of what he's put out. So the first 5, let's give it to the label, but he's dropped like 7 more that he owns. And that's the thing about people who either want to buy their catalog back or will sell their catalog. In the case of Future, Future knows he's going to drop a shit ton of albums that some people might be like, why would you drop, you know, why would you ever sell the masters of Dirty Sprite 2? And, you know, he's probably thinking, nigga, I'm finna make like 10 more Dirty Sprites. The fuck are you talking about? Just give me the bread. And he did get the bread. He got, you know, he had sold his, Future sold his masters for reportedly around $70 million. Yeah, he sold it for $75 million. And, you know, which, by the way, I'm going to be honest with you. In hindsight, I think this was a steal. This is a steal. $75 million for everything of Future up to 2020. I think that's a steal. Keep in mind, so the Drakes, the Drakes, Taylor, Weeknd, Bad Bunny, they're at $1 billion level, right? They're at $1 billion level. Of course, Future's not that, but this was the majority. 612 tracks. I think he probably could have pulled 100 million, but you never know. You never know. Again, there was a time where these like investment companies were just handing out the cash. Anyway, I digress. Let me have him finish this up, and then we do got to move to a few other things. Chat, remember, I'm gonna apologize for this stream not being as long as maybe you wanted to, because I do have to catch a flight. I gave up on sleep. I'm gonna sleep on a plane, but I'm going to Toronto for the show. But I wanted to get a stream in to tap in with you guys before I get out of here.
The record from his own boss under oath: purchase, ownership, not a loan. So here's the board. Universal owns Drake's past outright, and Universal never sells a catalog back because Universal isn't a fund that buys to exit. It's the operator that catalogs exit to. And when Taylor Swift got her masters, she bought them from a private fund, Shamrock, because funds sell and Universal doesn't. But everything Drake has made since Certified Lover Boy, he owns himself through OVO and Republic. So read what that does to the incentives now. Universal, own his past, so they don't need his future to monetize it. He owns his future, so he builds nothing by staying. Both sides' reason to renew is gone. So when Drake's Universal obligations run out, and maybe they're done already, he's the most valuable near free agent in music, and he is not re-signing to a major. I think he's going to a services and distribution home.
We should see. There's a big check that could be wrote, that might be wrote. You never know. But his album did reflect it, and I think through the whole little soliloquy I just did now, it's exactly what the market says. B's on the table. It's either you're gonna keep him Republic and write that check, or it's gonna leave, right?
Where he keeps everything that he makes. I called that back on day 340. You can find it on the YouTube channel. And I'll say it again here. His next home is services or self-owned, not a major. And the single best fit example of that, run by the executive who's had Drake's back since 2015, is Gamma. Nothing has been announced, obviously. I'm just telling you where the board points based on the receipts. And there's also a rumor, it already has, quietly. It's one that gets repeated often in the comment section here, that the entire Drake Gamma conversation, that Drake secretly owns a piece of Gamma. People call it shadow equity. So let me hold it to the same standard that I hold everything else. There is no filing confirming that. There's no cap table. There's no receipt that I can point to say that's right. It traces to one source. Joe Budden floated it on his show back in April of 2024. And here's the only thing that gives it any air. Asked about it directly, Larry Jackson has never confirmed it, and he's never denied it either. He pivots to how valuable Drake.
Yeah, so there's a thought that Drake owns part of Gamma, but there's no official confirmation whether he does or he doesn't. It would be smart if he did own part of Gamma. It would be incredibly a game changer, and I do think that might if Drake owned part of Gamma, I could see Drake going independent at that point, because if I'm him, I go to Gamma and build the fourth major label, basically, right? Like it's instant. You built streaming. Now you could build a label that you own that already has other artists' catalog, but now you do a Michael Jackson-like move where you're getting paid off of them. See, that's the thing. See, Drake's career mostly, he hasn't really, other than Party Next Door, hasn't had the biggest artists in OVO. He's gotten paid mostly off of himself. Doing the Michael Jackson move when Michael Jackson purchased the masters of the Beatles, you become like this next entity when you purchase the infrastructure. And if he already owns part of the infrastructure, the next best thing you could do is join them and help build them, that subsequent every other artist that comes on, he's going to benefit from.
Drake's catalog is when he's asked. So it's unproven, undenied. That's a rumor from a credible industry voice, but it's not a fact, and definitely not something off of an anonymous website, which brings us all the way back to that anonymous website. I want to explore this a little bit more. look at the two sides. On one side, you've got Larry Jackson, Ike Yusuf, Todd Bowley, Rick Gerson, Apple, named people, real balance sheets, real reputations. And on the other hand, you've got 100 John Does, no author, sources that are all anonymous, insiders, and a donation button that takes only Monero, a cryptocurrency built to be untraceable, unlike Bitcoin. And here's the part anybody can verify because it's in the public record, not from the lawsuit, from the domain registry itself. Pull up the registration on the two sites going after Gamma. Same registrar, 2 cows, same day, April 20th, they were registered, and they were registered 5 seconds apart, one at 10:55 and 52 seconds, and the other at 57. So 2 independent whistleblower sites born 5 seconds apart from the same account. That's not 2 consciences. That is one operator opening 2 tabs on their browser. And where do they hide? This is a snapshot as of now because this can be repointed. One site runs its DNS through G-Core, which is a European CDN registered in Luxembourg. The other through Angela, the anonymity service built by Peter Sund, a co-founder of the Pirate Bay, purpose made so that nobody can find who owns a domain. Someone will say, no, those are 2 different hosts, so maybe they're 2 different people. But no, the 5-second co-registration under one registrar settles authorship. The split hosting is just belt and suspenders, 2 cows, privacy shield. Pirate Bay grade hosting, untraceable crypto. Sites spun up by an AI tool in a single day, pushed by a bot army with names like Lily 1893505 and Henka 486027. Random strings, 0 real followers. That is a professional anonymity operation, which is exactly why Gamma can't just find these people. It needs a court to help unlock it. So on March 26, 2026, Gamma files in New York State Supreme Court a defamation, trade libel, unfair competition against Does 1 through 100. The whole point is the subpoena. 2 cows holds the real account behind both domains, and a court order is what pulls the record and turns the does into names. And the complaint lays out the machine, hundreds of X accounts, which were made in December, by the way, all with 0 other activity, firing links in a 12-minute window on April 25th and April 26th. A Reddit account posting identical copy before it got banned, a server IP hidden behind a content delivery network. The site's built by an AI content tool. That is a paid operation, not a conscience. So here's my read on the whole situation, and I'll date it today. Whistleblowers don't build a dormant bot army 5 months before they have anything to say, and they don't need Pirate Bay hosting and untraceable crypto. They need a journalist. When that subpoena lands and 2 cows has to hand over the account, I don't think it points to a hero. I think it's going to point to someone with a motive and a budget, a competitor, or someone who lost when Gamma won. And on the bigger board, Drake's masters are split. His contract is his own, and the one independent company built for exactly his situation is run by Drake's oldest ally in the business. I wouldn't bet against Drake and Gamma ending up in the same sentence officially before this is over. Okay, and here's what this hands you, okay? Whether you ever think about the music business again or not, whether you're in it or not, we are now in the era of the manufactured expose. Anonymous sites built by an AI in a single day, pushed by bot networks, aimed at a company, a founder, a stock you own. I've lived this myself, and everyone's instinct is to judge the accusation by how bad it sounds. That's exactly backwards because the content is engineered to sound damning. You don't judge an anonymous accusation by what it says. You judge it by its structure, and it's 3 questions. Number 1, who's willing to sign their name to this? Who's making this? A real reporter or a real whistleblower attaches an identity. A wall of anonymous insiders and 100 John Does is a tell, not a source. And number 2, what does the timing say? Something that drops 48 hours after good news is a response to the good news, not to the truth. Number 3, is it coordinated? hundreds of accounts, built months in advance, and fired in a 12-minute window.
I think you guys are getting the gist, huh? Okay. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, it appears he has beaten the child support gauntlet. And after receiving amazing news, his baby mama is spiraling. She's now coming off like Brittany Renner. Okay? A court has struck down, okay? A court has struck down his baby mama's attempt to finesse him. I want to explain this to y'all, chat. I want to explain this to y'all. And please, give me a second while I try to get this explained. So, chat, let me tell you how child support works in many different places. I've always heard, if you live in Texas, it's a great state. If you got a little dirty dick, pause, and you live in Texas and you love getting a whole lot of bitches pregnant, you're actually in good luck. I'll tell you why. Supposedly, in that state, according to how family court works, they cap child support. So not because you make $1 zillion means they're going to give your baby mamas, if you have 20 of them, $1 zillion. They actually cap it after a while, and after a while they're like, hey, listen, y'all gotta make it do. Y'all knew this dirty dick nigga had a bunch of other baby mamas. That's how it is. Now, I think that's a fair system. Now, there's obviously people that are going to be very, torn in between, because some people are going to be like, well, let's look at someone like Anthony Edwards. Let's look at his salary, right? They're going to be like, yo, if he's making $48 million for the year, like, yo, he should be able to pay $1 million for the year for his kid. Like, what's the point of making all that money? You don't want to do it. But now, we all know what child support is, right? A lot of these girls, they sleep with famous rich guys because they want to get paid. And such is the case. I think this woman is also I think she has a kid for Future as well. So, like, it's no coincidence when a woman has a kid for a star rapper or a superstar rapper and a superstar NBA player. She could say all she wants that she doesn't target niggas with a 9-figure net worth. But come on, what's happening here, right? Like, we know what's going on. So anyway, he wanted nothing to do with her after having a kid. She said, all right, fine. Well, you got to pay up. You nutted in this pussy. You got to pay up, my boy. And this is how the finesse goes. And I'm giving y'all the cheat code. Please tap in. Got to tap in. So remember I said, like, in Texas, they look at child support as, hey, listen, y'all all got to, there's a cap to it. In California, there is no cap. And actually, it's one of the worst states to be a millionaire or especially an athlete and have a baby mama, because if you've ever seen those wild numbers, a lot of it come from California. We're like, yo, they're getting paid $40,000 a month. I'm even still very impressed that Chris Brown is paying a modest amount, but I think he's established something where he is a current active parent, and because he lives within the state that's at third, like he doesn't pay too crazy. But remember, his baby mama, at least for the first kid, I think Royalty, wanted some wild amount of money. He was paying like $16,000. She was like, fuck 16, I want 32. And then the judge was like, how about you take 4 or 5? Or I think it was 6 or something like that. Anyway, California is a place that is going to give you the bag, right? Especially with these contracts that are publicly known. You can't really be like, oh, I didn't really make that money. You don't have that much expenses. Your main business is basketball. That money goes directly into a calculator, and they give the child support based on that. So here's the finesse that Anthony Edwards did. Anthony Edwards been fighting his baby mom to say, hey, check this out. She wants to do family court to fight for child support in California because she's going to get the bag. Anthony Edwards won by saying, no, that's not the right court. That's not the right court. Let me see. Here we go. That's not the right court. I want to just pull up the article really. Anthony Edwards court. Yeah. He won the battle. He said, no. Georgia is the right court for us, not California. She's like, no. We want to do it in Cali court. Why? She wants the bag. Georgia courts clearly are or way more not liberal, but like they're obviously Georgia's conservative. Georgia courts favor not giving you some wild ass bag just because you got a kid. And Anthony Edwards won the legal battle to have child support determined in Georgia as opposed to her wanting the child support jurisdiction to be in Cali that she could get the bag. Now, not only did he win that, he actually he then gets awarded or gets ordered to pay $3,222 a month for the child. Devastating blow for the baby mama. The baby mama probably wanted at least $20,000, $30,000. Let me see. And by the way, the California court ruled as well. The California court ruled that she got to stop trying to get child support in California because it's not the right jurisdiction. Let me just put Anthony Edwards, child support, California. So if you guys didn't know, it's important where you live when you're or where you establish a relationship and live in where the kid lives, when you are having babies with these women who clearly at some point are going to want to take you for your money. Let's read it. So Anthony Edwards child support ruling. Georgia court won. Okay, he scored a significant win in his ongoing dispute with Aisha Howard, with a Georgia judge ruling that Minnesota Timberwolves star will pay $3,222 per month for their 1-year-old daughter, Aubrey. The decision caps off a lengthy fight where the case could be heard, and it gives them a decisive victory after months of completing lawsuits in Georgia and California. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, the judge found that Howard didn't appear for trial and provided no evidence to support her claims before issuing the support order. So, yes, the ruling also noted Edwards had already been making payments long before the case reached trial. Court records show the NBA player began paying child support in 2025, starting with $20,000, then $5,000. So actually, the court looked at what he was paying and say, brother, slow it down. You're paying too much. So shout out to that court. The court, so he gave his baby mom $20,000 and then paid $5,000, like he was just paying $5,000 a month. But the court even deems that, oh, no, okay, you were overpaying, and they're even adjusted for that. So by the time the judge issued the order, he already paid $110,000. The files also note that she had no reported income. Of course, these girls, like the only type of work is underneath the sheets, while Edwards' finances have remained under scrutiny after signing a 5-year contract worth over $200 million. It's an extension. The latest decision, a culmination of a legal battle that has stretched into since Aubrey's birth in October 2024. Howard filed for child support in California, arguing that Edwards has substantial business and financial ties to the state. Okay, so remember, she filed for child support in California, claiming that Anthony Edwards basically lived there, right? And they're looking. So I think, let me chat GPT this real quick. What determines the state jurisdiction of child support? Yeah. That's what we need to figure out. Okay, state jurisdiction for child support is governed by this act. It dictates that the state that issued the support order keeps exclusive control. Okay, that's not what we want. We want the initial. Okay, here we go. For a brand new case, the child's home state, where they live for the past consecutive months, has the primary authority to set the order. So I guess this chick, remember, she has other kids. She lives in, so she really fucked up. If you wanted the bag, you got to go move to California. Right? So what probably is happening is Anthony Edwards lives in California, right? Outside of playing basketball in Minnesota. Like, no disrespect to Minnesota, but, after the season, he's like, peace out. He goes to live in California. She wants California, who's going to give her more money. But here's the thing. I think she's future baby mom. Let me make sure. Aisha Howard, future. Isn't she future baby mom too? Baby father. Okay. Oh, it's little baby. Oh, never mind. Oh, why are you asking Anthony Edwards for bread then? Little baby's tricking on hoes for 16 bands, bro. Like, you could get some money out of him, bro. Just leave Anthony Edwards alone. Anthony Edwards is a real nigga. Hey, so She has kids for baby and also for Anthony Edwards. So this makes sense. So she probably stays down there in Georgia, right? Because also the child support order she got for baby, I don't know if he's on child support, but their situation is she's going to keep the kid in state. So now she has a kid with another nigga. Really, she needs to move to California, right? To really get the bag. But because she didn't move to California and doesn't have the history to show of her living in California, because again, it does take some planning and some commitment to get this bag. Like, you know, just having a kid is just not enough, right? The judge says it's not the jurisdiction because according to this, for a brand new case, the child's home state. So I think she lives in Atlanta because her other baby father, Atlanta, right? Okay. And the court must have also a valid connection or long arm reach over the paying parent to legally order them to pay. Okay. So clearly she didn't want to file in her own state. She wanted to file in his state. And the judge is like, well, don't the kids stay with you? And where do you live? Atlanta? I bet. We're doing it in Georgia. Okay. Parties can also agree in a formal sense to let the original state keep jurisdiction, blah, blah, blah. All right, whatever. Okay. All right. So that's what it is. She later submitted additional declarations of financial records that said she supported those allegations. Edwards never wavered from his position that the case belonged in Georgia. His attorneys argued that Howard was attempted to secure. Yep, exactly what I said. His attorneys argued that Howard was attempted to secure a largest child support award by litigating in California and accusing her of filing meritless and harassing motions that unnecessarily prolonged the case. They sought to limit additional filings tied to the California case. The Georgia court ultimately sided with Edwards, rejecting her effort to have child support decided elsewhere and formally establishing the support obligation in the state Edwards argued had jurisdiction all along. Okay. By the way, this was also interesting. In the recent filing, she accused the NBA player of intentionally omitting and concealing longstanding California-based financial assets and financial activities in an effort to evade personal jurisdiction and child support obligation. She claimed he was hiding his money. How could he hide his money? His contract is public to the world. What do he get signs for? Let me look up Georgia child support calculator. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Is there a calculator? Probably not. Is there a cap to child support in Georgia? It doesn't have a cap. States online calculation cap out when combined go, okay. That's the limit. Okay, courts could apply a high income deviation based on the prior lifestyle of the family and the true needs of the child. Discretionary. Okay, so the judge could deviate. Is a duration cap? Let's see. Could we, okay, here we go. Georgia child support. One kid, your time with the kid. Let's say he's with the kid 25% because he's out fucking bitches, right? Like, Anthony Edwards, he's slanging that thing. Pause. Your monthly pay, she's going to say zero. The other parents pay, she's going to say, I don't know. Well, she's going to put millions, right? She's going to say, like, he's getting paid, is it per month? Let's say $1 million. Yep, $1 million. Okay, how do I hit the calculate button? How do I calculate the calculate button? Am I missing something? What's your monthly pay? Oh. I think you put it in here. My bad. Okay. Wait, what? Okay. So if you make $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, damn. Okay, that's not that bad. If you're making, okay, and 1 million. Oh, it caps. It does cap. Oh, it does cap. There we go. You see 10,000? No, this is 100,000. You paid 2,000. So between 100,000 and $1 million, this is now $1 million. You still pay. Yeah, okay. So So chat, I'm glad I found this calculator, man. I'm making sure whoever I get pregnant, we gonna be up in Georgia or Texas. I don't even want to know what Jersey does. Fuck out of here. So yeah, so it seems that, Shorty down there, she down there in Atlanta, she want to be on Simpson Road, she want to be in Decatur. Yeah, all right, your ass should have been in Beverly Hills with your kid if you really wanted that bag. So that's why she's only getting $3,222. And of course, she's highly upset, like highly upset. You gotta, you want to chat. Check out what she said. She's so mad. She is so upset that Georgia is determining the money and they're not giving her the Bagatron. Here we go. Aisha Howard. Oh, the fuck? Okay, this is what she says right here. Check this out. She says, I'm fully aware of the rumors and narratives circulating online regarding my family and my child's financial future. While the intense media attention is overwhelming, the negative backlash directed at an innocent child and the mother is deeply troubling. Much of what is being published by blogs, some of which have been paid to spin a narrative to protect a client's reputation, is entirely false and disconnected from reality. However, whether true or false, the situation highlights a devastating cycle in our community, the normalization of absent fathers and the lack of parental accountability. Tragically, our community often feeds into this negativity inadvertently. Yo, this chick do not talk like that, bro. I hate to judge a book by its cover, but bruv. Anyway, okay. Tragically, our community often feeds into negativity inadvertently, applauding behavior that keeps black children at the highest percentile of living in single-parent households. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, approximately 47 to 50% of black children live without a resident father. When we thrive in sports, fashion, and culture, we are failing to uphold what it truly means to be men, fathers, and providers. Providers. How much providing does she need, bro? I am the mother of one out of 3 children who have been abandoned by a celebrity athlete. What? I am the mother of 1 out of 3 children that have been. Is she giving us a stat? Is 1 out of every 3 children abandoned by their celebrity athlete father? Anyway, I'm the mother of 1 out of 3 children who have been abandoned by their celebrity athlete. Because of my platform, my story receives the most attention, but beyond the entertainment value, the clicks, and the views, the painful reality is that the 3 children are growing up fatherless. Oh, never mind. Okay. This is not due. Oh, he has 3 kids. My bad. Because of my platform, my story, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, there's another baby mama that the judge said, hey, you're going to have to pay this amount for whatever amount of years. And Anthony Edwards says, yo, I'll just wire her the 18 years of money. Is it $1 million? All right, I'll just give you the $1 million. Peace out. Catch you later. I'm back to fucking these hoes. Like, he basically paid the child support all at once, allegedly. We could probably get into that story. Maybe not today, but listen to her doing the Brittany Renner, saying that, oh man, this guy is a piece of shit. He's a deadbeat. You had a baby with him after he was a deadbeat to 2 other women, right? Like it's like a woman complaining about NBA YoungBoy. It's like, yo, so the 12 kids at first didn't dissuade you? It's your fault. Like, women pick cheaters and deadbeats and then complain about them later. You think you bigger than the program. You think you special. You think you going to reinvent the mold. No, you ain't, shorty. Okay? So anyway, she says, I'm the mother of one of the 3 children who have been abandoned by a celebrity athlete because of my platform. By the way, she is talking like this. I would imagine ChatGPT or a lawyer kind of came up with this. She's saying by a celebrity athlete. She doesn't want to say his name because that could be motion for a gag order, which that happens frequently. Ciara did one with Future before, and Future did one with Ciara too, during their back and forth. But if you throw their name into the mix while you're talking down. So that's why she's like off a celebrity athlete rather than Anthony Edwards. So she's the mother of one of his 3 children. Because of my platform, my story received the most attention, but beyond the entertainment value, the clicks and the views, the painful reality is that 3 children are growing up fatherless. This is not due to the lack of resources. Of course, she's pocket watching that nigga more than, I pocket watch. Health or opportunity. It is a conscious choice. A man can take the jersey off his back, the shoes off his feet, and sign for fans, yet his own 3 children are missing the same signature on their birth certificates and have never even met him. Furthermore, the narrative labeling these mothers as gold diggers for seeking proper care is entirely false. None of the mothers filed for child support initially. The father took each of the mothers to court himself. And by the way, wise decision by him. If you gave her 20 bands and was giving her 5,000, you paid 110,000, she probably still asking for more. What woman ever says, you know what, he gave me enough money. You know, this is too much. Oh man, he's too good. She probably was asking for more money. I know a dude right now who says he's going to put himself on child support because his baby mama is unreasonable. He's usually very generous, but she keep asking for more and more. And you know what baby mamas do? It's the same thing that Brittany Reynolds just did. She's going to watch what you getting your new bitch. Oh, you getting her a Birkin bag? What about our kids? Bitch, like, what the fuck? What the fuck does my new girl getting a Birkin bag got to do with you having our kid? Can our kid wear a fucking Birkin bag? You get what I'm saying? So they're going to watch your new relationship. And that's why you'll see it kind of like bleed into it. She says none of the mothers took him to child support initially. He took himself. Yeah, the reason why he took himself is because he was overpaying y'all. In none of the situations has the judge said he's not paying enough. So he was being too generous to y'all. If he took himself to child support, it's probably because y'all was asking for more. And he had to go to an official authority for the official authority to tell y'all, bitch, be humble, sit down, take this 3,000, no more 5. That's just the reality of it, right? Okay. None of the mothers filed for child support initially. The father took each of the mothers to court himself, choosing legal maneuvers over showing up for his children, effectively using the legal system to vanish from their lives. While the internet remains invested in rumors, these are the facts of the matter. We cannot correct the cycle of absence if we continue to excuse it. My legal team and I possess all the facts, evidence, and documentation regarding these proceedings, and we will move forward accordingly. Rumors will not dictate the final outcome. Thank you for your time and respect for our privacy. W. Anthony Edwards, man. W. Anthony Edwards, man. Nigga, low key, this might be his first ring. I ain't even gonna cap. This might be his first ring right here. This might be his first ring. Yo, she is seething. Yo, you know what chicks see when they see this? They're like, yo, this can't even buy me a Chanel. That's how she, oh my God. Judge, you're cruel. This can't buy me a Chanel. Interesting, huh? That's how Erica Mena was. Did you ever see Erica Mena when she broke down when they told her how much money Safari had to pay? Like, yo, she was losing it. Erica Mena, let's see, here we go. When they told her, Erica cries. When they told her how much, listen to this. Bro, we've never seen more devastation. Check this out.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, I'm officially divorced.
Oh, no.
Kidding me?
Here we go.
Officially primary custodian of the kids. What about the child support?
What about the child support? Hear this now.
That's it?
She said, hold up now. Hold up now.
Tony, that's crazy. Why? Are you kidding me? Now all of this financial burden with my children is on me?
Chat.
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
Fell down to her knees when that child support payment got announced, bro.
This is not fair. When a man shows you who he is, you have to believe him. When anybody shows you who they are, you have to believe them.
The judge showed you who they were. No, you're not getting the Bagatron. No, you're not going to be buying Louis V and Chanel's off child support. No, you can't ride in the double R off this man's hard work and sweat equity. No. You can't live in the 8,000 square foot mansion off of his child support. Maybe get a job. Oh my God, I can't believe. This is.
He doesn't have to pay nothing of it? Nothing?
Yo, Scrappy, why you there looking like a supportive stud girlfriend, nigga? You should be happy.
That's the that comes with
Yo, she's crying over child support, bro.
a woman that is so ride or die about love. This is up. Ladies and gentlemen, learn your
Yo, she was celebrating the divorce, but crying over the child support.
partner before you jump ahead and fall in love with.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. Yo, I know this is like reality TV, so Love and Hip Hop, this shit was fake, but yo, Scrappy, the way you holding her, it's like you trying to crack, bro. Like, this is how the nigga that's consoling, the nigga who console your girl like this is gonna be donkey fucking her later, bro. Trust. You know they say a shoulder to lean on is a dick to ride on. Like, yo, she crying on his shoulder.
The words and all of that stuff that.
Why he look upset? Yo, why he look upset? Why he look upset, bro? He look mad. He look mad. Like, yo, this is crazy, chat. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
Make up this fairy tale because.
Why he looking around like, yo, I can't believe this shit. Like, yo, bro.
When no one's looking.
Yo, don't tell me he wiping his eyes too. Like, yo, bro. Yo,
That's when everything
man.
just goes left.
Financially, the kids are my responsibility. I have primary custody of them.
Damn. But.
Which state did their child support get determined in? We gotta figure out that state, man.
I'm strong. And I'm here.
I'm officially divorced.
Okay.
But Safari doesn't have to pay anything.
Oh my God.
I will always believe in love. Love is real.
Wait. Look.
But Safari doesn't have to pay anything.
Oh my God.
That's like the death in the family.
I will always believe.
Yo, the entitlement to these shit. Yo, the entitlement. By the way, for the people who are, there's gonna be some, some stupid ones in the back. I think if you got a kid, you should take care of him. Unfortunately, women have gotten so greedy, niggas got to take themselves to court. Have a judge actually be like, bitch, are you crazy? Like, why the fuck you need like $18,000? Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't need no $18,000 a month to raise no kid. What are you talking about? You need $18,000 for what? By the way, chat, I also looked up, is child support capped in Texas? And chat, I'm going down there to J Prince Hood to have my first kid, nigga. Texas has a cap on net monthly resources used to calculate child support, which is set to $11,700 per month. They said basically, here's the max. For the first child, 20%. Basically, wait. All right, let me just go to here. Okay. Bet. Here we go. So we're on the official Texas website. Okay. The person paying is self-employed. Income monthly, let's say we making how much? We making 100 bands a month, chat. We're making 100 bands a month. No, actually, we're making $1 million a month. We Drake. Well, actually, Drake makes more than that. Damn, we gotta fill out too much shit, bro. We don't want to do all this. If you're providing, could enter? Oh, what the fuck? All right, I'm just make shit up. $300. This is health insurance. The monthly premium. Oh, these are deductions. We paid $30 a month for dental. Union dues, no. If you work, no. Okay, we'll just act like we live in Texas. Children's in this action. How many in this child support order? We're gonna say 1. Outside this action, we on our young boy shit. We on our NBA young boy shit, bro. We got 10 kids. 10 kids out, and this scallywag thought she hit a lick because we make $1 million a month, right? So the scallywag, I got 10 kids already. She gonna have the 11th kid, but she thinks she gonna hit the lick because we make $1 million a month. All right, bet. Let's see. Monthly gross income? What the fuck? Wait. Oh, this calculate does not support in excess of 11,700. Okay. So basically, it's a cap. Obviously, the judge probably could, in extreme circumstances, but okay, bet. This is good. It's good. Yeah. So essentially, no more than 11,000, right? No more than 11,000. And they usually say 1 kid this, 2 kids this. I guess by the same parent, where they could probably like mix it up. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to Texas to have kids. I'll do that. It's like signing up for like a cable plan. All right, yo, you want to add the 2-kid package? The 2-kid package is like 3 bands. I bet get the 2-kid package. You know what I mean? You know when they was trying to sell you internet and cable, and they try to tell you some bullshit. Oh, and you could get this. Yo, the other day I was realizing, nigga, I'm paying $500. I ain't gonna lie, I'm paying even though I got corporate and business phones and shit, I'm paying $500 a month for cell phones to like my cell phone provider. Bro, I look on my fucking plan, bro. They got all type of like hotspots that I don't even use. Like they're like, yeah, you have 3 hotspots. I'm like, 3 hotspots? I'm like, nigga, cancel that shit, bro. You know how I got the hotspots? Every time I would get a new line, they'd be like, hey, if you want a bundle, you save this, you should just get a hotspot, blah, blah, blah. So every time, like, when you in the store, be like, all right, nigga, just come on, just do this shit quick, man. Do this shit quick. So I said yes to everything. They give you it free for like 60 days and they start taxing your ass, nigga. That's I'm like $500. It's like shit was in. So anyway, the point is, yeah. Every time you about to get like cable or like your phone plan, they always try to throw in a bunch of add-ons. So at least you got the menu right here. All right, bet 4 kids, I'm paying 4 bands. Other than the STD rate in Houston, y'all seen that? They say Houston got the wildest STD rate. They say it has the highest, like, they say it has a higher STD rate than the whole of Texas, man. They say, like, yo, down there, it's like they all passing around like Uno cards, straight up. So other than that, I would have went to Texas and just start raw dogging all these chicks. And if there's a kid, at least I know the baby mamas ain't gonna be like, we're getting the bag off act, right? They'll be like, yeah, you're getting $2,000, shorty. You're getting $2,000. So Texas, amazing place to have kids. Georgia, not that bad. Don't have no kids in California. Fuck no. Never. All right? Just giving y'all some advice. Look at this. Look at these tiers, bro. This is ridiculous. What about, let me look at Florida. Is Florida child support capped? There's no specific. Ooh, I don't know about that one now. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, that's not that good. I like when there's a cap.
Believe in love.
I want them to be crying like this.
Love.
She told me I'm believing in love. She cried over the child support, bro. Yo, chat, you hear this? She said, I still believe in love while she's crying over the child support. Yo, this is insane.
But Safari doesn't have to pay anything.
My God.
I will always believe in love. Love is real. But
love is real, but the child support isn't real.
I'm going to take time to love on me and pour on me. And
no, take time to apply for a job. Like, that's what you got to do. With all due respect, you don't need to take time to do nothing. You need to take time to fill out an application, update your LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you need. Oh, I need to take some time to love on me. No, you need to take time to get a better attorney. Like, that's what's going on.
But I'm going to take time to love on me and pour on me. And I want to learn this new woman that I am. This woman that has learned to emotionally be in control.
Yo, when these chicks don't get the bread or they fumble the bag, man, they start talking spirituality, gospel, like, I got to get closer with God. Like, you're like, what?
Control.
Hi, baby girl.
Yo, you can see every vein in her forehead, my nigga. Like, yo, she look like Skeletor, gang. Like, as soon as she heard, what? You don't got to pay nothing. Bro.
Emotionally be in control.
Hi, baby girl.
This new woman I've become deserves time with me.
No, she just thought she deserved a Chanel. No, motherfucker. You change a diaper or something, man. You good, bro. Love is real. Like, yo, get out of here, chat. This is crazy. All right, W. Anthony Edwards, man. W. Anthony Edwards, all right? Cool. All right, chat, real quick. Kanye West has settled his sexual assault lawsuit, and wrongful termination lawsuit. If you don't know, there was a woman, her name is Lauren Pisciotta. This is her right here on the gram. She was hired by Kanye to be an assistant. And for whatever reason, she thought, that Kanye hired her because she knows how to make phone calls, organize a schedule, and call him black trucks. Come on now, right? Anyway, she claims that Kanye West was really lustful after her, wanted her, and she said that she changed her life around and moved wherever because Kanye West offered her $4 million as a salary. Now, I want to make it very clear. If this doesn't sound like some batshit crazy shit already, she thought she was worth $4 million being the assistant for Kanye West. If you don't think that's Delulu, I don't know what to say. Anyway, after a much dragged out legal battle, and I think Kanye just had a different place in his life. Kanye actually settled this rather than going to court. Obviously, by the way, Kanye's name has came up in some, they do say Kanye is a little freak boy, so maybe for him it was worth not going to trial. But generally, I think a lot of people, Shannon Sharp also settled as well. I guess, do I think Kanye West did these things? Because he settled, I'm not going to say he did. It's not the best look that he settled, but I can't knock him if he settled. Why? Because it becomes a situation. Do you want all your business aired out in public court? Do you want to have to go through public court? You never know how it could go. And also, do you want this to continue a trend? Anyway, he's reached a settlement with his former assistant, Lauren Pisciotto, who accused him of sexually assaulting her, sex trafficking, and wrongful termination. The settlement was reached on July 23rd, according to court documents obtained by USA Today. She must now file a dismissal request within 45 days. The terms of the deal haven't been disclosed, and while addressing the statement, Pisciotto's attorney says the matter has been resolved. A representative for West did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and in June 2024, she joined in on the whole wave where people were getting at Diddy, getting at Jay. She sued Kanye, claiming she worked for him from 2021 to 2023, and claimed that she got sexually harassed, claimed he did a breach of contract and wrongful termination. In a previous statement to Rolling Stone, Kanye's legal team actually called the allegations baseless and accused her of engaging in blackmail and extortion tactics after he rejected her sexual advances. She was terminated for being unqualified. She was demanded unreasonable sums of money, including a $4 million annual salary. Come on. And numerous documented incidents of her lascivious, unhinged conduct. Okay? That's what the publicist then added on. Over a year after the initial lawsuit, she filed an amended lawsuit. So she started off with wrongful termination, then she added the sexual stuff to spice it up. Kind of sounds like Lil Rod. Because at first his beef with Diddy was, I didn't get paid. Then he was like, Diddy, you try to fuck me, and I didn't get paid. Okay. Also known as Ye, she accused him of stalking, sexual battery, sex trafficking, and false imprisonment. Ye subjected her to obscene comments about her body, demanded where she wear tight, fitting clothes, groped her on a regular basis, forced her to watch Ye perform sexual acts with other women, sent her sexually explicit pictures and demanded she do the same, and repeatedly demanded that she join his sexual encounters, which she refused. Okay? She claimed that on one occasion, Ye tried to vaginally penetrate her with his fingers and that he orally R-worded her without her consent. So he forced her to suck his... In another amended 4 months after the initial filing, she added allegations that he drugged her and sexually assaulted her at a studio session. Ever since West went on an anti-Semitic tirade and blah, blah, he's faced a wave of lawsuits filed by people who work for him, from ex-Yeezy employees, teachers at his failed down academy, musicians, claiming sampling disputes, and West was found liable by a jury. Okay. Okay. All right. So Kanye has closed that chapter. And I do think this is probably, if you ask me, part of his rehabilitation, where he's been really quiet. We haven't gotten his opinion on anything. He hasn't said anything controversial, anti-Semitic, or anything of the sort that could get him canceled. He's been on a run of just doing great shows and really trying to earn back the public trust and public love. So I could see why he doesn't want to go in court. I could see why he's like, you know what, I'm just going to settle. He wants to kind of stay out of the headlines, and this was probably a move to stay out of the headlines more than it was him admitting that he was guilty of any of this. Okay? Nevertheless, she exists within an era of women who, it was really the second wave of Me Too stuff, especially in hip-hop. She exists, Cassie got $20 million. I'm pretty sure she got what she got. Shannon Sharp paid allegedly $20 million. And, a lot of women like in that 2024 era were just levying all type of claims against guys. Mostly, obviously all on a civil level. So they weren't looking for anybody to go to jail. They were looking for some bread. It is what it is. Kanye clearly has it to pay. And I did see someone mention, they said Kanye is in a unique boat. Because if this was Jay who settled, he would be getting all type of fire for it and people would be roasting him. But because it's Kanye, we routinely look the other way or say, all right, we don't really have to keep talking about this. It's just over, right? And that's true to a certain extent. I think because people think there's more nefarious things going on with Jay than Ye, if you ask me. Okay, good. All right, where are we at? It's a Cardi B done previewed a new song. Let me go see what Barty B has offered to the world. Is this the preview? Now, this might go up. This might go up. Cardi's back popping her shit. I seen someone say to me the other day, they're like, yo, Ak, with all that shit you were talking about Brittany Renner, she's like, well, Cardi B is in the same boat. And they were asking they were like, yo, is everything you said that applied to Brittany Renner applying to Cardi B? Okay, how old is Cardi B? Cardi B, I believe, has 4 kids. She's 33. She's single, I think. And y'all heard what I said about Brittany Renner. Now, my response to that person was, and my response to everyone who asked that question, it would apply to Cardi B if Cardi B wasn't Cardi B. Now, this is the operative part. You see, Cardi B, unlike Brittany Renner and the majority of chicks that's 34 with a kid that left their successful baby daddy for a bunch of other niggas, the difference with Cardi B, yes, she used to be with Offset. She got 3 kids for him, had 1 for Stephon. Being with Cardi B is a flex. Being with Brittany Renner is not a flex. Okay? Being with Cardi B, you could be whoever, your money's going to go up. Because that brand, being aligned with the brand of Cardi B gets you more money. That's attractive in itself. Okay? So Cardi B is just not these other women. Right? So you can't compare a Brittany Renner where, like, her brand is people thinking that she got ran through. Like, it's just, there's no flex there. There's no flex. Like, I don't know if Offset will admit it, but Offset being with Cardi B, matter of fact, we all know it. When Offset started dating Cardi B and Cardi B started aligning her brand with the Migos, it helped the Migos. Cardi B was the hottest thing around. You get what I'm saying? So that's that. Sorry. That's that. And it's 2 different situations, if you ask me. We got to be honest. Now, is Cardi B 33 with 4 kids? Yes. But I'm going to be honest with you. The optics, chicks were hitting me with a cope. They were like, yeah, well, you better say the same about Cardi B. No, bitch, you're not Cardi B. And if Brittany Renner was Cardi B, I would be like, yeah, she's done X, Y, and Z, but she's Brittany Renner. But it's not that, So Cardi B gets a pass that probably most women won't get. So if you're a female, you might listen to Cardi B's music, but don't do what she does. You're not her. If you have 4 kids at 33 and you're not a worldwide superstar, you're not somebody who could transform a nigga's life, you're not the main character, the main event, which she is, your ass gonna get called a hoe. Cardi B just get called Cardi B. Just being honest. You get what I'm saying? Like, the niggas, if say you make $50,000 or $100,000, well, Cardi would never date you. But let's say she would. The moment you start dating Cardi, your brand is up, visibility is up, you're making $1 million. Of course you'll date Cardi B, right? Or of course you'll fuck with her or whatever. You fuck with Brittany Renner, you're just getting ridiculed. You're just the broke nigga who's dealing with the hoe that everybody fucked. There's no upsides in that. And it works both ways. Like, women, they see a ugly nigga. When he's broke, he's just a broke ass ugly nigga. When he's up millions, it's very different. They talk about him different. So, not everybody's created equal. All right. Well, the song's cool. I like it. She's kind of popping her shit. Look like she's trying to be back on the musical wave a little bit more. I actually fuck with it. Oh, it's called Aha. When is it dropping? Friday? Oh. I seen her twerking and shit. Y'all seen her in the strip club? Nigga, her ass so fat, nigga, I feel like I'm going to get TOS by playing. I'm good. Because she has some see-through shit on. I don't even want to play it. All right. All good. What else did I have on my list? Okay. So there's a new conspiracy theory emerging, chat. They're now saying, did Krishan Rock kill her baby daddy? Now, Charles Barkley Jr., which is the son of Krishan Rock, or some people might call it Krishan Jr., Blueface claimed he not the pappy. Then he claimed he is the pappy. Then he said he didn't tweet that. He said she tweeted off his account. This is off of last night. They basically were beefing over whose kid it is. Yet again, he says, my son. Then he later tweeted out, he said, man, I ain't put that up there. He denied that was from him. He said it was from her. They seem to be fucking around again. And people are really kind of diving into, if this kid's not Blueface, why does Krishan Rock want Blueface to, be the father so bad? Some people feel like the father, or the real father, is the guy who was her ex-boyfriend who died. He got tragically murdered. And somehow the rumors have kind of circled on one accusation at this point where they're claiming that they believe Krishan Rock got her baby daddy actually killed. Krishan Rock. And of course, okay, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I love Flacco and I love Trap Lord Ross. They hit you with some titles. It's crazy. Krishan Rock will be arrested for murder soon. Like, my nigga, I gotta click when I see shit like that. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll play Flacco videos just a little bit shorter.
More bad news for Krishan Rock. The chances that Krishan Rock is in a jail cell by the end of the year is very high. Krishan Rock is absolutely cooked. So TMZ reached out to law enforcement after rumors began to circulate that Krishan Rock was involved in the death of her ex-boyfriend, Ronnie. So the law enforcement official gave TMZ an answer. Now, that answer from my perspective is not good for Krishan Rock, but we'll get there, okay? Let's just first address why people believe that Krishan Rock is involved in Ronnie's murder.
In the next 4 to 6 weeks, God willing.
So this is the ex-boyfriend who they believe is the father of her kid. His name is Ronnie.
Krishan is going to be required to do a court-ordered paternity test. And once we get this paternity test, we shall have more. Right here, Junior right here.
You
weird as
you
weird as shit. You weird as shit.
What's wrong?
You weird as shit. Nobody stalking you. That's my son. That's my son. That's my son.
Oh, so he was publicly claiming it.
What you want to do?
Excuse me.
What do you want to do?
I'm calling the cops.
I don't give a call him. Nobody touch you.
Go to the cops.
Call him.
Go.
Yeah.
Go. I'm calling the cops.
Police ass. You a police ass.
Time to go.
You a police ass.
Yes, you heard right. We just got the update. So apparently, there have been some money on Ronnie's head since Friday. What's today? Tuesday.
Wait, what? Okay, so the guy got killed eventually. He was shot 10 times. Like, damn, that whoever who did it wanted him dead. Bad, huh? And you had people popping up with rumors saying there was money put on his head.
So since Friday,
Apparently, somebody put some money on his head. Somebody wanted him dead. And y'all, I found out exactly how it happened. So one of the neighbors says that Ronnie was sitting in his car outside his house when all of a sudden this car pulled up behind him. A person gets out the car. He didn't realize that they had a gun or whatever. They ran up on the car real quick, y'all. They shot him 10 times. So whoever this was, they wanted this done quickly. Now, I'm not going to say it's not a coincidence that him and Krishan did have...
The ex-boyfriend who was following her from state to state trying to get a paternity order because he was convinced that that was his son and that she was trying to pin his baby on Blueface and ice him out. Now, he was shot and killed a week before the last court date that would require Krishan Rock to give him a DNA test, right? Now, here's the thing. Her sister did, the Jason Lee interview where the sister says, she implied that Krishan Rock did this, right? She implied that Ronnie was shot and killed to avoid the paternity test, right? And other people have came and spoke out. Blueface have came and spoke out and says that he don't trust Krishan Rock. She's a backdoor artist. But here's the thing. Krishan Rock has confessed to a lot of people in this industry that she did this.
Wait, what?
I'm not capping.
Yo, what? Wait, what?
I'm not lying. That's just 100% fact. Right? If Krishan Rock wants to deny it, I would tell her who she told that she did this. She already confessed to doing this to a lot of people in the industry. Multiple.
Wait, what?
People. Multiple people have told me that Krishan Rock has confessed to them. So it's either she was popping it and lying, or she really did this. See, she told him specifically, bro was playing around too much, right? Like, bro pulling up.
So Krishan Rock is going around claiming she got her fake baby daddy or wannabe baby daddy killed? Why would she do that?
Up on her, like, at the mall was her last straw. So she has told multiple people this in the industry, that she has confessed that she was the one who put the hit on Ronnie.
Yo, chat, remember when I did the Warren Chirac and niggas used to be like, yo, Ack, yo, you doing a police job. Yo, this is why I love Flacco and Trap. They'll just tell you what it is. They'll be like, yo, Krishan already confessed to it. You're like, what? Wait, hold on. How we get to this part of the movie? What? She confessed? Where? Be like, yo, it's happening behind the scenes right now.
Right. Now, there's a Neon clip, like from a stream, that has somehow disappeared from the internet. If anybody can find it, y'all let me know. Where she's telling Neon, he's going to end up in the grave like her baby daddy for playing with her. Now, there's an audio from a few years ago where WAC 100 is predicting that Krishan Rock will be arrested for Ronnie's murder eventually.
Usually when like that happen, the target never gets hit. And I hate to see she got that little boy in the car and she don't get to cooperate and them niggas do what I know they'll do, bro.
Right. And you still think that ain't Blueface baby, right?
No, that ain't Blueface baby. Bro, listen, look at the baby. The older the baby gets, look at Ronnie. Down to the teeth. Ask one of these ladies on the floor, man.
Does anybody have a picture of this Ronnie guy? His name was Ronnie Doe. Okay, this is him. I ain't gonna lie, respectfully, they kind of right. This baby do look like Charles Barkley Jr. do look like this Ronnie dude. Yeah. Look. Right here. Right here. Nah, he might be the pappy for real. Nah, chat. This whole time I'm thinking it's Blueface. Look, here. Oh, nah. Yo, if she clapped the dad to put the baby on somebody else. By the way, chat, in Jamaican culture, we call it a jacket. Yo, a jacket is when the mom puts the kid on another guy. You wearing a jacket. Like in Jamaican culture, like at least old school, like paternity test ain't that big. So it's like, I grew up in the countryside. When your girlfriend get pregnant, basically when she gives birth, y'all bring the kid to the eldest person in the family, and they look at that kid and they look at their grandkid or whoever, and then they certify. That's how it works. This is old school Jamaican culture. Trust. My grandmother used to do it. So the grandma look at the kid and look at it and be like, "Yeah, that's your kid. That's your kid." And if they said, if they said, "I don't know about this one," yeah, you in a world of trouble. Trust. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Her last interview, she kind of told on herself.
What she
They gave nephew $100,000.
Basically said that she was still messing with Ronnie when she first started, when she was messing with Blueface.
No, we know that. That's what I'm saying. Look, Ronnie was in the delivery room when she had the baby. This why she went back to Baltimore to have the baby. Ronnie was dead, bro. Look at that baby. And look at Ronnie. I'm talking about down to the 2 front teeth. It's crazy. Like,
and you know what? You know what's crazy? I just thought about it. Like, she been making a whole lot of threats and shit, like in regards to Blueface life. And a lot of people on social media, they're like, "Yeah, bitch, you got, yeah."
Look, bro, there's gonna come a day where one of them little gonna get caught, and they're gonna use her as a get out of jail free card, and they're gonna arrest Krishan for the murder of Ronnie.
What?
Believe that. That's a fact.
But she sure been talking a whole lot of shit, talking about some, yeah, get the fuck up out the way.
If Wack 100 was lying, Krishan Rock would sue Wack 100. But Wack ain't lying. And the reason why Wack feels so confident is because there's been confirmation from Krishan Rock's own mouth. Like, Krishan Rock has confessed to this through her own mouth. Now, Wack 100 would say this is very similar to Jimmy Henchman. How Jimmy Henchman was in New York, got a bunch of crash dummies. He was paying for hits. They were committing the hits, and he was getting away with it.
Hold on. We got the side by side. Grandy posted it. It's a side by side chat. Is he the pappy or nah? God damn it, that's his kid, man. That's that man kid, bruv. God damn it. That's that man kid. Nigga, I feel like Will Morey right now, nigga. That's that man kid, bruv. That's that man kid. God damn it. Holy shit.
Until the wrong crash dummy got caught and they began to tell, right? Wearing wires, doing whatever they can to get Jimmy Henchman to fall, right? In the case of Krishan Rock, she's not that connected politically, right? Like, like she's not up no $100 million. Like, she's not no Don in the streets, right? She's a little girl who probably put a hit out there and they came to collect a little bit of money, but they don't got no loyalty to her. So Wack breaks down, A, why he believes she's going to get arrested, and then 2, the circumstances that led him to think that she's involved.
When it comes to me, a lot of...
Why? One of these little, just like they did Jimmy Henchman. Didn't nobody know until the got booked on one thing and they told the police, Jimmy paid us to kill this motherfucker. You know, can we make a deal? Yeah, it's only one way to control that, and the Italians showed you how to do that. And our politic ain't that deep.
Oh, he's saying that the only way to control it, you got to kill the shooters. So after someone does a killing for you, you get rid of them.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You got to knock down the knockdowner. That's it. So with Ronnie, right? Let me give you the history of Ronnie, right? Remember when Ronnie was put her in the mall and they called the police. Remember Ronnie went to jail? He was in the mall. Like, that's my baby, this, that, and other, right? So look what Ronnie did. She pressed charges on Ronnie that day. So that week, Ronnie had a court date with Krishan Rock on Friday for the charges she pressed on Ronnie. Ronnie tells them on Monday, yeah, I got you, you stupid. You ain't smarter than me. Now that we gonna be in court, I can serve you the DNA subpoena, right? He said, I don't give a about the case you filed on me. I got you right there. I'm gonna have them served in front of the judge. It lands Wednesday morning. This court date is supposed to be Friday that she got on Ronnie. Wednesday night, Ronnie dead in his driveway.
So did Blueface get a test?
She won't give it to us. We didn't try to listen. We didn't serve the. She act like she ain't served. You can't. It's only one name on that birth certificate. Only one. Hers.
So that video when they was like talking to her around the corner and the daddy was behind it.
I just double checked. That was actually 7 months ago, not years ago, but still, that was still a long time ago. Where Wack 100 knew beforehand, whatever Krishan Rock did, whoever she paid to murder Ronnie, it would be sloppy enough to where they're gonna get her, right? And that's before this week where somebody has came forward and said the police came knocking. They want to talk to him and interview him because he's been online talking about this Ronnie murder. Now, him and Ronnie was in the DMs back and forth talking about putting money on each other's heads. But he swear he had nothing to do with it. Now, he claims the police is interested in his relationship with Krishan Rock and what he can provide there. All right? So TMZ contacted, law enforcement. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This response, a lot of people may overlook it, but trust me, this is bad news for Krishan Rock, like really bad news, okay? So the 2025 murder of Krishan Rock's ex-boyfriend, Karan Khan, remains unsolved. But police tell TMZ the investigation is still active as detective continues working to identify and catch the killer, okay? Now, Justin Malachi, a rep for Anne Arundel County Police Department in Maryland, they told them, we can confirm that it's open in an active investigation. However, we're unable to provide any additional details. I'm gonna tell y'all this. A lot of y'all will overlook that and say, well, Flacco, no.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be an open investigation no matter what. It's a murder, right? I guess he's gonna say like it's not a cold case, but I mean, a murder that's probably less than a year and some change old, yeah, it's still going to be investigated.
If somebody contact you and say, hey, is Krishan Rock a suspect? If you're not a suspect, oh, nah, hell no, she's not a suspect. No. Just like, for example, when Lil Durk was in his court case, right? Now, when they were investigating the murder of Stefan Mack, Lil Durk inquired with the city of Chicago if he was a suspect in his murder. They were back and says, no, he's not a suspect. We don't intend on charging Dirk Banks with this murder. If they reach out and say, hey, is Krishan Rock a suspect? Do y'all intend on charging Krishan Rock with this murder? There's a lot of people who is online claiming that she's involved. Do y'all intend on charging her with this murder? And they say, well, we can't comment on that, sorry.
Interesting.
The murder of Ronnie Doe is heating up so bad that TMZ had to get involved. Krishan Rock's ex-boyfriend, Ronnie Doe, murder still under investigation, 17 months and counting. The 2000 incident, meaning like, oh, you hit my car, or we were talking, got into it, and pow, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like he was either being chased or stalked or hunt it down, one of the two, but they get more into it. But police tell TMZ the investigation is still active as detectives to get you away from her. In February 2000,
Yeah, everybody's kind of like almost down there convicting her already. Let me read the article. Did it say she's under investigation? Or are they saying they're investigating the murder? Because, you know, you can investigate a murder without giving any information if you're investigating the person. Okay, it remains unsolved, but police say it's active and they try to catch a killer. They told us it's open and active, but we can't provide any details. And I guess, so Flacco's train of thought is they hit up the police people to figure out after they heard that supposedly someone got questioned and Krishan's name came up. So they hit up the police to get an official statement. And the police did not comment specifically on Krishan. All they said was it's an open and active investigation. Interesting. Wow. Very interesting, y'all. Okay. What time is it? It's 4:29. Still got some shit to do. I'm going to see if I can make it to 3 hours in here before I dip out. By the way, Chad, if you don't know, I will be in Toronto in a few hours. I will be doing a show on Friday. It's a variety show, comedy, music, a lot of shit. But it's, just to kind of sum it up, it's basically what we do here, all right? If you guys could come out, please do. I think we might be over capacity already because, it's like half of the city's bad bitches requested comps. Yo, Toronto is such a great place. Like, all the baddest Toronto is the only place where I know, like, bad chicks. They just go from event to event to event. Like, they got, let me not comment anymore, but it should be a good time. Big Act will be in the 6. I'll try to stream. If not, I'm gonna be vlogging. Neon's out there, so me and Neon will link up too. So should be a good time. All right. What else? Tony Yayo comments after Tory Lanez outsells Rick Ross. Let's hear this.
Made you think I was going to earn 19,700 units the first week, outselling Rick Ross that did 17,200 units. Ross, you need some help. You need the Drake stimulus package. That wasn't there for you. Beefing with 50, that wasn't good for you. It's just nothing been good for you, man. You just find a new career, man. Do something. Like Fifth said, the bum juice and the record sales ain't working for you in the wings, man. And I like American Deli wings, by the way, motherfucker. So just remember that.
Wings?
Yeah, I like American Deli.
Damn, they beefing with even Wingstop? These niggas beefing with Wingstop over this shit. Okay. I get you. What else is going on? Drake popped out to Karol G event. All right. I'm kind of looking for a topic here. Oh, Usher bounced back. After them chicks start playing with him, Usher bounced back. This is how he bounced back.
Don't bring your ass up here if you don't want to be here.
Tell him, Usher.
Hi. God don't like ugly, but he most certainly don't feel too good about pretty privilege. He can do it.
He said, God don't like ugly, but he don't feel too good about pretty privilege.
Listen, that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm just looking for one sexy lady tonight that want to share the stage with me. It's true. Hey, Chris, you find one over there? I'm gonna take my time and find the book. Before we get started.
Okay. This is what the last girl said. First of all, nobody declining to go on stage. I look good as fuck. You thought I wasn't gonna let thousands of people see me? Damn, this chick is. She really got a big head, huh? On the big screen where you bitches will never be. My mom and I had floor seats. Their team approached us, moved to VIP before the show even started. Pretty privileges. It's something you hoes will never know about. Wow, this woman is pompous. They don't say who you going up there for. Y'all wanted me to get up there and start fucking them at that point? Chattanooga folks aren't used to anything. That's the most exciting thing that would have happened in their little ass lives. Fuck y'all disrespectfully. Wow. Okay. Now, a fan did go on stage and she tried to reverse the roles on Chris Brown. No, I mean Usher. You know how Usher usually put the cherry in their mouth from his mouth? A fan tried to do that to Usher. After she done sucked on the cherry, got her halitosis, bad breath, gingivitis, all type of shit, lathering that goddamn cherry. She's going now try to put it in Usher's mouth. And watch Usher's like, oh, no, I'm good. Hell no. Hell nah. This is how you're supposed to act when Usher pull up on you, shorties. Oh, nah, she's trying to hit. Nah, she's trying to hit. Oh, nah. Oh. Yo, imagine if you her man or you her future man. Like, yo, come on, bro. Yo, imagine if this is your future wife, bro. In her mind, she's fucking. Nah, look at Usher's face. That nigga's like, yo, this bitch is trying to fuck. Nah, shout out to this fan though. I think she was a great sport. You know, after I think it was embarrassing for Usher to get curved by the other girl because all of these girls, they're clearly saying they love the hell out of Chris Brown. This tour is showing that, yo, respectfully, Usher and Chris Brown is not in the same league. Chris Brown is like completely different. Like this tour, from what I've seen, it's about like 70% Chris Brown, 70% Chris Brown, 30% Usher. Usher got fans there, but trust me, the thirst for Chris Brown is it's off the Richter scale. Oh, I thought he went like this to his man and be like, yo, Pat, slide me the condom, nigga. I need to hit this. Hell no. Hell no. Nah, she went in though. Good for her. Good for her.
I'm a person that I have blue skin. A lot of y'all keep telling me to go get my ass reduced. Newsflash, I did got my ass reduced. But unlike certain artists, unlike certain celebrities, I can just go and lipo my butt because my skin is like kind of loose. Like that's why my ass shakes so much. So if I just go and get a lipo reduction, that is the easy way, my ass could drop. So I would have to cut myself. And I'm not cutting myself. I'm not sitting down for 4 months, bitch. I'm outside, like I said. I like my body how it looks right now. I'm comfortable in my skin. Y'all acting like y'all new to this. Y'all been seeing my body for how many years now? Too many. Oh, you look super, super snatched. Yes, bitch. Just stop hating. I'll tell you what I do so I could look snatched. Just ask me what I do. Ask me what I do and I'll tell you. I fuck with y'all bitches. So I will tell y'all, drink fiber so you could stool so you could stool properly so your food won't stay there overnight. Drink fiber. If you're gonna be eating unhealthy, you can't drink unhealthy. Drink as much water as you can. In the morning, try to drink coffee.
Yo, Cardi giving us like dietary tips and shit like that after she got a surgery is crazy. It's like a nigga that got Ozempic telling you do sit-ups. like a nigga on Ozempic like, yeah, do sit-ups, stop eating after 7, run 3 miles. You're like, but nah, I fuck with Cardi. Yo, why people criticize Cardi about her own body? Let her live.
So you could stool more regularly and wear your fucking faja. It's just simple. And eat.
Chat, what's a faja? Is it this? Faja.
Like, I'm a person that I have blue skin. A lot of y'all keep telling me.
Okay. What else you say?
I'm also tired of you hating ass bitches.
Yo, one thing I love about Cardi, she's always beefing with some it's like Cardi's beefing with like some women with like 15 followers. You know what I mean? Like when she's talking about like hating ass bitches, it's like a certain girls, like she's talking about real people. They're just not popular. That's why I think some people look at it and be like, Cardi, why are you bothered? But I think that's what makes her. Because she's beefing with some people who nobody knows.
I'm tired of you bitches. Why every single time that I look snatched up and I look fucking good, y'all always want to be fucking shady like, oh, she got another surgery. She got surgery. Bitch, I post every week. Every week I post. Bitch, I was 2 weeks straight. I went from Paris, London, Italy. Every week I post. Every week I'm busy. So when have y'all ever seen me? When have y'all ever seen me have a time off to get surgery? I'm very honest about surgery. I'm very, very honest. First of all, I got 2 lipos and 1 ass reduction. So if y'all want to know about body surgery, or of course titties, but I'm not talking about titties. I'm talking about stomach and ass, this and that. First, I am a small girl. I'm a very small petite girl. My mom is petite. My sister's petite. My aunts are small. Well, some of my aunts in my aunt family, they're a little bit big. Like my grandma was big as fuck. My grandma had big titty, big everything. But me, I'm just naturally petite. Like I'm very petite. I got small hands. I got a small wrist. I got small foot. I got small ankles. Like I'm a small bitch. So yes, I do lose weight easily, even if I got 4 kids. I'm also tired of you hating ass.
Oh, this is what I say I want to play. Oh, shit. Oh, she still got it, huh? Holy. Shots of Barty B. Nah, Cardi on bad timing. All right, Cardi. I see you, girl. Speaking of which, yo, we talking about physiques. Y'all see Lil Wayne, man? Lil Wayne came out today. He's been going viral. He was performing a Millie. They said this nigga looked like his belly got abs. Like, this shit is crazy. They said this nigga looked like a strong-ass roach. He looked like a roach on HGH, nigga. He looked like one of them worms from Men in Black. Like, Wayne, we got to give him credit, man. He's still in pretty good physical shape for being 43. Other than those 5 strands of dreads that look like they're hanging on for dear life, for a guy who drank lean for 40 years, I got to be honest, he has a lot of muscle Like he's really toned and he looked pretty kind of, you know, I would say physically looks in shape. But yeah, this went viral. Now, this was a crazy transformation because the nigga looked toned and bloated same time. Like, it's kind of crazy. So a lot of people said, man, this guy got some really good fucking genetics. Is it for a guy who was just sipping lean for like all of his life? Like he's pretty, you know, he looks pretty in shape. He looks healthy. And shout out to Wayne, man, he does look healthy. Shout out to Lil Wayne. I rock with it. All right, let me see. Could I bounce one more in before we get out of here? Is there any quick update? Oh, all right. Well, we'll just watch this, and then I got to get off, chat. They're now saying about Nolan Wells. They're saying Nolan Wells.
The bidding for everybody, if you will.
They're claiming that the new thing they're saying is that Nolan Wells might have got clapped by his black friend now. Like, chat, I ain't gonna lie to you. This shit is... They're saying he has a black friend that done killed him. Let's
right out on the aisle.
Where can we find this video at? Where is this?
D.L. Hughley just rage baited Officer Tatum to expose himself. See, Tatum has been out here covering his Nolan Wells situation, pretending like, you know, he's not a tap dancer, pretending like he just wants the truth. When in fact, you know, his real intentions for bringing up how many black kids were on the island and things of that sort was to redirect. Okay. Then D.L. Hughley, black woman, when he's out here.
Is the of comedy. What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
All right.
From a mother filing off subpoenas to tech companies, to audio furthering conspiracy theories that may now be debunked, to video that may change what this whole case is about, there are a lot of updates and developments in the Nolan Wells death investigation we need to talk about. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay. Got new developments in the Nolan Wells case that we need to talk about as the family is desperately seeking answers. The public has been invested in this. It's all about the truth of what happened to this 18-year-old young man. There are developments about subpoenas, audio, video, official documentation, possibly drinking. And we're going to get into it all with a former detective. I wanted an investigator on this to make sense of this, what's happening behind the scenes, how we should put it into our overall context. It's important conversation. Now, even before we get started, I want to let everybody know, we've been following this case, right? So if you want more details, if you want more of the documentation, if you want everything we have so far, you can go to our Law and Crime Plus app because we have a case files section and we have everything. Pathologist found that pieces of his body, we're talking portions of the neck, had apparently been removed by the state medical examiner during that first examination. So this second autopsy, this second examiner couldn't determine what exactly happened to Nolan. Couldn't rule out foul play, couldn't say whether there was injury to his neck, whether there was trauma to his neck. And that leaves many questions on the table, raises a question of whether the state ME is conducting further testing of those components and whether that will definitively conclude what happened to Nolan. Was there trauma? Was there drowning? Was it accidental or not? Perhaps tough given those conditions. You're also talking about decomposition. Oh, and there's the red discoloration apparently found on the back of the head. I spoke to medical experts about that. Some say it could be from decomposition. Some say maybe it could be blunt injury before death because the body wouldn't discolor like that after death. And remember what's going on here. The family wants answers. The family hired attorney Ben Crump and his team to navigate this, to do an independent investigation. And there seems to be a distrust of law enforcement here. And they're looking for answers that they may feel they're not going to get from official channels. So let me get into all these new developments. And before they do that, I want to bring in Matt Irvine, retired detective, law enforcement instructor, who's going to help us break it all down. Matt, good to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Jesse.
Okay, first I got to talk about these subpoenas. Just came out last night. I definitely wanted to cover this. So Nolan's mother, who we've talked about a lot on this program, Christine Wonsley, has appeared to file subpoenas for records from TikTok, Snap, so Snapchat, WhatsApp, Meta, Life 360. They are part of this legal case regarding the estate of her son, the estate of Nolan Wells. And these are very specific subpoenas, court order requiring a witness to produce documents or records or evidence. And it appears that they were filed by attorney Gary Bufkin, who is apparently working with Ben Crump, who we know the family has retained as counsel in this matter. And this was filed in the Chancery Court of Jackson County. So, for example, here's just the WhatsApp subpoena to give you an idea. It says, quote, "You're hereby commanded within 21 days from the receipt of this subpoena, but no sooner than 15 days from the receipt of this subpoena, to produce and permit inspection and copying of all documents, electronically stored information, records, and tangible things designated below, and to deliver, mail, transmit, or make available for inspection said materials to counsel for petitioner," meaning Ms. Wonsley. Now, you go down a little bit further, it says, "Materials to be produced within 21 days. All materials and information of all kinds, regardless of form, in your possession, custody, or control, or accessible to you concerning Nolan Xavier Wells, his cell number," and then it gives his email address, "including without limitation all subscriber information associated with the account, all current and prior usernames, email addresses, phone numbers, and display names associated with the account creation date, and the IP address used to create the account, all IP addresses tied to actions on the account."
Okay, so they're filing off subpoenas to kind of figure out if stuff was deleted. Get that.
Track down her son's phone, which was apparently with friend Warren Hudson. Fine lines, the double swipe. You look at the reviews
On here, first of all, this language in these subpoenas is pretty standard for any subpoena that is demanding the production of records from any electronic service provider. These are the kinds of things you would look for in putting together a case. I'm expecting that the Jackson County Sheriff's Department is commanding the production of the same kind of information, either through subpoena or search warrant. But I think this speaks to the fact that Nolan Wells' family, as they've expressed, does not have confidence in the integrity or the impartiality of the law enforcement investigation. And so they are conducting their own investigation. And that, I think, gets to the larger issue of why so much of this country is talking about this case at this time. And I mentioned to you when we spoke before that there are legitimate reasons why some people don't trust law enforcement. To put a finer point on it, there is a terrible history in this country of black men, particularly young black men, being murdered by white men who get away with it. And unfortunately, in a lot of those cases, the role of law enforcement has ranged from indifference to authorities. So I think these subpoenas and this independent investigation,
we get the subpoenas. What else?
These sightings of Nolan Wells on July 4th, and combing through all of that electronic data, looking at communications, looking at images from the devices of anybody that interacted with Nolan Wells on Horn Island that day, not just his friend group. They also should be looking at these electronic service providers to see if there were any images, any communication from Nolan that day that for some reason isn't on his phone. They should be looking,
you can tell
for example,
that? I mean, this information would tell you if something was deleted?
So very often when somebody deletes content from their phone, it remains on the servers of the electronic service providers. Some of that depends on the application. Some of it depends on the permissions and privacy you've got set up on your device. But it is certainly possible for somebody to believe they have deleted something from a device and to have that data still remain on the servers of the electronic service provider.
Does it seem to you that they are preparing a lawsuit of some kind? It's not the first time that somebody would file a lawsuit after they obtain certain information, potentially through a subpoena. Is that something you are wondering? Because remember, the family's represented by counsel.
It's certainly a possibility, and it's not unusual when somebody loses a loved one to want to seek some kind of accountability, and particularly if you feel that the authorities are not discharging their duties effectively, a lawsuit can be one way to seek some form of accountability.
By the way, how accurate are these apps, in your opinion or your expertise, in terms of tracking someone's location?
I would say that a lot of these applications are tremendously accurate. I mean, they work off of satellites. And I just recently had to help my daughter find her phone using an app. And I was able to locate it literally within probably a dozen or so feet from where she left it. So these apps are very accurate. And if, for example, Nolan Wells was wearing some other form of smart technology, a smart watch or something like that, they could certainly show the distance of Nolan Wells from his phone during the course of that day.
It's good to have a detective father. Nothing gets lost. Nothing falls through the cracks. It's pretty cool. All right. We put that to the side. Again, I want to start with that because that just came out. But even before that came out, when we asked for you to be on the show, there was something else that we had to address. This video. This is big. Because a big question, as we've always talked about in this case, did Nolan Wells stay on Horn Island to talk to a young woman? Did he not go back on the boat? Did he not go back to the mainland? Did he not go back on the boat with the friends, right? Well, there is this. So this, what you're seeing, is new video that was reportedly obtained by Officer Tatum, right? Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum show. And he has been, by the way, challenging the narrative that race automatically played a role in what happened to Nolan. But in this video, you see who would appear to be Nolan's friends on the boat, and there is no sign of Nolan. Now, we believe that this is at a critical time. Reminder, this is when the boat was apparently having issues. It was taking on water. We're going to get into it a little bit more because there's audio that I think is really relevant here as well. And they needed a tow. Again, we'll get into that, how that happened. But when you look at this video, by all accounts, there's no sign of Nolan Wells in this video. And as TMZ reports, this would be consistent with their reporting. Their sources saying that authorities believe Nolan stayed on Horn Island, citing two witnesses that apparently told investigators they saw Nolan on the island after the boat left. This is consistent with the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources Police report obtained by ABC News that claims Nolan's friends told authorities, quote, that when they left, he was in the company of an unknown female and that he chose to remain at the island. Matt, it's this video I think is quite pivotal, very important.
I would agree. I mean, the video seems to show that Nolan was not on the boat. Now, the exact timing of things is something that people will have to dig deeply into. The timing of that video alongside the distress call that was made to the tow company, all of those things are going to be an important part of the investigation. But at least at face value, at first glance, this video does seem to support the contention that Nolan did not get on that boat with his friends.
Does this mean it exonerates everyone on that boat? Does this mean if something happened to Nolan, it had to have happened on Horn Island?
Well, you're asking two questions. It would certainly suggest that if something happened to Nolan, it happened on Horn Island, or at least did not happen on that boat. That doesn't necessarily mean that the people on the boat are exonerated. Whatever happened to Nolan could have happened with or without their involvement or knowledge somewhere other at some other time. But it certainly does seem to support their statements, again, at first glance, at face value.
But this helps the investigation because now, in potentially looking at, now we have to look at the mainland, we have to look at what happened after a certain period of time, they can limit the area. They can look more specifically at an area to determine what happened to Nolan Wells, right? Because when this first happened, there was a conversation, did Nolan get back in the boat, go to the mainland, something happened to him, they put him back on the boat, throw his body into the water. I'm not saying that was a legitimate theory, but that was something that was coming up. If you're not seeing him on the boat at that point, this, in a way, I believe would help investigators, right? Narrow down what they have to focus on.
It certainly provides some direction to the investigation. I think, again, just knowing what's publicly reported, it seems like it's premature to eliminate anything at this point, but it can at least shift the focus. At this point, it sounds like, from what law enforcement is reporting, that they have spoken to people that claim to have seen Nolan Wells on the island, and that he chose to remain at the island. Now, whether or not that is true, I don't know. But it certainly does seem to support their statements, again, at face value. But this video does seem to support their contention that Nolan did not get on that boat with his friends. alive after his friend's boat left. Now, there's still some question about who those people are and how they know it was Nolan. Are these people that actually know him, or are these people that just saw a tall black man and particularly with all the reporting assumed it was Nolan? So there's still a lot of unanswered questions there. But assuming there are people that saw him alive on the island after his friends left, that would tend to shift the focus of the investigation to try to figure out what happened to this young man after about 4:15 in the afternoon. And who saw him alive last? I mean, that's going to be possibly one of the most critical witnesses in this case.
Yeah, that becomes really interesting, right? Like the idea of whatever happened to Nolan, no one saw anything. Even if he accidentally drowned, no one saw him, no one tried to help him out. That's a fair point. That's a fair question. And it does make me wonder, do you believe, before we talk about the audio in a minute, do you believe that law enforcement may know more, a lot more, than they are telling right
It's going to come out in grand jury, clearly.
now? Do you believe that they have some potential witnesses who have provided more information about the last whereabouts?
I'm interested in how the story is going to change from what the public think it is to, I do think there's a real investigation, because sometimes we do these online investigations and we realize we're completely off. Obviously, there's probably people who are current persons of interest or people who are witnesses that are talking to the cops that are not, making or sending videos to Officer Tatum,
Of Nolan Wells, and they just haven't shared that information yet?
I would expect that to be the case. I would certainly hope it was the case. Again, there seems to be some reporting that they are claiming to have spoken to 60 or so people. Obviously, all of those statements are not in the public record at this time. There's also mention of this case going before a grand jury, which is, I guess, procedure in this part of Mississippi. And if you're going to bring a case to the grand jury, you want the grand jury to hear that evidence for the first time in the grand jury room and not have it tainted by prior disclosure.
I just played video. Now let's go to audio. Take a look.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
So yeah, we've talked about this before, right? This audio that was released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. This is giving us a glimpse into what happened that day. It's giving us a glimpse into this chaotic event on the water on July 4th, because this is one of the first pieces of audio that we're hearing from that day that captures the frantic moments that this boat that was connected to this group began taking on water. It was due to a reported failing bilge pump. And this is a boat that we believe that at some point Nolan was on. But you compare that with the video that we just talked about, it doesn't appear that he was on it at that time. So they call for a tow, and interestingly, the way that we understand it based on the reporting, it's actually been reported that another boat actually ended up helping them out, another boat that was anchored there. It wasn't a private towing company. And according to reporting, Nolan's friends said they left Horn Island at 4:30. Someone told them apparently they saw Nolan on Horn Island at 6 p.m. There were accounts, by the way, from friends that the last time they saw him was 3 p.m. But this is what we need to talk about, this audio development. So there is a theory that has come out when this audio came out. There is a new version of the audio that was enhanced by TMZ. When you listen to it, there are theories. There are people out there who believe you can hear in the background someone saying, "Is he dead? Nolan, wake up. Check his chest." I spoke with a forensic audio expert, Robert Freed, on my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live. Compared both versions. So compared the version that was obtained from the WFAB website and one from TMZ. And he said the newly enhanced audio from TMZ was longer than the other one. He created transcriptions of both videos, and here's what he found. In those transcripts, from your analysis, does anyone say, "Is he dead? Check his chest. Nolan, wake up"? Anything like that?
No. It's very distorted. Even if you hear it from the original to even the audio enhancement, it's still very difficult for some of the software that we use to even pick up those types of words. And there was nothing like that close to it in the transcriptions that we saw.
Now, he did say that he would want the audio from the original source, right? The source, I am assuming, authorities have, because he said there was redactions. There was redactions. So he was curious how the audio was generated. And even in this video, you hear redactions. And I made the point to him that if there's a redaction of, let's say, personal information, a phone number, as that redaction's happening, you might hear something in the background. And so, account numbers, things like that were shared. So he wants the original video. He wants to look at the metadata. Matt, what do you take away from this?
So I've listened to the original video, at least as it's been played on various media sites, and I have listened to the enhanced one. And quite frankly, I can hear commotion in the background. I can make out a few words, including some curse words and something like, oh my God. I can't say one way or the other whether the things some people believe they are hearing are being said or not. It's very distorted. I do appreciate that people are making an effort to try to kind of literally cut through the noise and find out what's going on in the background. But I think it is just, we don't have enough information. At least I don't feel I have enough information based on publicly available recordings to know what's being said in the background.
That's fair. That's fair. I guess the question is, would it make sense to you that if someone's making a call for an emergency help, they would make it two things. One, if Nolan was having some sort of emergency or was in trouble, wouldn't that be relayed on the dispatch? Unless there are those out there who say, hey, the people on board were responsible. If that's the case, why would you make a call while this is going in the background? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I see what you're saying. So it is not unusual when people are staging a crime scene, covering up a crime, to make a 911 call as part of that crime scene staging. But that happens in cases that are usually premeditated murders, and it's a very cold-blooded, calculated sort of thing to do. We are talking about a half dozen or so, 19 or so aged men. I don't get the sense that there's a tremendous amount of criminal sophistication or cold-heartedness in this group, at least in terms of what's been reported. It would be very surprising to me that they would deliberately stage a distress call to cover up some crime. It would be even more surprising to me that they would choose to make a recorded phone call while something was going on in the background connected to some kind of foul play that was happening or had just occurred. And then the last thing I would say about that is, if this is some kind of conspiracy in which 7 or so people know that some foul play happened to Nolan Wells and one or more of them was involved in it, it seems very unlikely to me that those folks could maintain that conspiracy of silence for coming up on a month now. I mean,
agree.
Even among sophisticated, hardcore, organized criminal groups, the more people you have involved in a conspiracy, the more likely it is that somebody's going to talk. And these do not seem to be that kind of organized, hardcore criminal group. I just would be very surprised that a conspiracy of silence to cover up some foul play done to Nolan would persist as long as it has. And certainly if it did, it couldn't for much longer.
I have to highlight another development. So it has been reported by outlets like ABC that according to a document that was sent out seemingly on July 5th with preliminary information from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, witnesses that day told authorities that Nolan had been drinking heavily with friends on Horn Island. Now, this is their account. We don't know if this is true, but it was part of a report that happened quite close in time to what was going on with looking for Nolan Wells. What do we make of that? How does that fit into the investigation?
Well, I think we need to be careful with those kinds of statements. Certainly being intoxicated increases the risk that somebody is going to come to harm. It's just harder to take care of yourself if you're heavily intoxicated. But I would want to know who these witnesses are and how they came to that conclusion. Are they seeing him acting in a way that suggests intoxication? Are they seeing him consume large quantities of alcohol, right in front of them? Do we even know for certain that the allegedly intoxicated person they're describing is Nolan Wells? So there's a lot of unanswered questions, and we really want to be careful about anything that smacks of victim blaming. The fact is, I would expect on a July 4th weekend out on Horn Island, there were a lot of young people consuming an awful lot of alcohol, and every other one of those young people made it home safe.
Yeah, we're waiting for the results of the toxicology reports, right?
Yeah, we'll see. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I got to run soon. Let me go do what I got to do. I will see you guys in Toronto. I'll give you updates on Instagram, on my story, on my Snapchat, and of course, I'll try to get a couple streams in while I'm out there, all right? Chat, see you soon. Thank you guys for watching. Shit, we were still able to pull about 8,000 people watching us at 5 a.m., so